Hello there, Thunder Buddies. Episode 90 of LightsThunderAction is in your ear canals with reviews on Miss Marvel Episode 3 titled Destined, and The Boys Episode 6 titled Herogasm, and what a gasm of heroes it was. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome to
LTA with
TCR
and JRB.
This is where the fun begins.
You're just not thinking fourth dimensional.
Flores Peter 03.
Num num.
I'm vengeance.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
I love you guys.
Hold on to your butts.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
Dude, I almost had you.
To that I say, all right.
Good evening. It is June 27th, 2022, and it is time for your Monday night pick me up, where two Thunder Buddies dive into all things Marvel, DC, pop culture, IP, and the latest happenings in the film industry.
What is up, everybody? Tonight, Thomas and I are coming off just recording a new episode for 15 Minutes of Marvel with Ethan Simi. That'll drop on his Patreon, exclusively on his Patreon. I believe he said tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. But tonight, we are going to keep things rolling. We're going to talk Miss Marvel. We're going to talk The Boys. We are even going to end up talking, you guessed it, more Thor, Love, and Thunder, because how could we not? It's less than 2 weeks away. And after all, just like the legend of the traveling TARDIS is calling us out in our comments, we are Thunder Buddies after all. So we'll be talking Thor, Love, and Thunder as well. But before we get to all that, Thomas, where can everybody track us down so they can follow along?
We are live beaming directly into your homes and phones via our LightsThunderAction Facebook and the HWWS WebTV channel on Twitter and YouTube. All of those links can be found at Linktree.com/LightsThunderAction. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow to view the live version of our show. I don't know why my voice is doing that, where you can interact with us. But if you don't want to look at our beautiful bearded face, but you want to hear our beautiful bearded voices,
You can find our beautiful voices and all of their wonderful natural flaws at Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Spotify. Be sure to follow and subscribe while you're there. Like us, give us a nice review, 5 stars, preferably, and ask us a question in the comments of that review, and we'll answer it right here on the following week's show. Legend of Traveling TARDIS show is following along with us tonight, and they said they're following ... not stalking, smiley face. Thank you. Love that you're here. Good to have you guys back 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, you can't be stalking. I mean, it's not Christmas time. So
Oh, that was bad. That was really bad. Is that how we're going to begin tonight's pleasantries? Is that how it's going to go?
Nope. We're going to begin tonight's pleasantries by introducing the world to your doggy in the background. Look at it.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, this is Lady, my 3-year-old golden retriever. She's almost 4 now.
Wow.
Yeah, she's been on my bed pretty much all day and hasn't moved. I was going to ask her to leave, but who would do that? So, yeah, she's just chilling. Yeah, come say hi.
Aww.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is Lady, everyone. So she's going to be chilling with us for tonight's episode. But yeah, Thomas, how are things going, man?
Things are going well. There was a Lady in a Tramp joke sitting in there somewhere, and I lost it. Things are good, man. It's Monday. We've made it. We're at the Monday night pick-me-up. My nose is wicked sunburnt. Don't go outside. And to be fair, I put on a lot of sunscreen on my face today, and most of it ended up in my eyes. So I don't know if I'm ever doing that above my eyebrows again. But my nose did not survive despite the copious amounts of sunscreen I went through. Hey, man, I don't know. What's the weather like up there? You were sweating bullets last week, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
not working.
My AC did go out. Luckily, it was only for that day and a half stretch. We got it back to working again. So things have been better. It's still been hot, so it's been very nice. We've been spending some time at the pool. I luckily have not gotten any sunburn, not yet at least. Usually I do about once a year, though, so hasn't happened yet. So maybe this will be the first summer I don't get burned.
What?
First
That'd
time
be
for
cool.
everything.
First time for everything, including meeting lady on this night. Yeah, we've already done a podcast today, so it's probably going to get a lot of bit weird here. But that's what you're here for, right? Right? You know, kids and maybe adults. I don't know. I don't really know.
I don't know. I feel like we're moving backwards because you're wearing a shirt for this one.
Yes. Well, I wanted to be like mildly professional. You know what I'm saying? So I threw on the old classic white.
That's a good
I'm
point.
not gonna lie. It's hot. Like, it's hot in here, man. It was 92 degrees today, and it was more like 98 with the heat index. And I went. My pants were dripping by noon today. Woo. Like, the pants themselves were dripping into my shoes. It was terrible. Don't recommend it. Don't go outside. And if you do, stay hydrated, kids. It's ridiculous. Don't live in Florida is my second recommendation unless you want to enjoy the heat like 77% of the year. Yeah. We don't have seasons. We just have hot. Couple weeks of good weather. Couple weeks of hot. Couple weeks of good weather. Couple weeks of hot. Random cold spells. And then it's like March and we're hot again. You know, I think it snows up there for most of that time. So
yeah, we get it. It's weird. Lately, we've just been getting a lot of snow all at once. It used to be that it would snow pretty consistently, but the past few years, I just feel like all the snow gets dumped on us in like a 3-week span, and then it's just muddy and gross for the remainder. So, but yeah, I mean, we could complain about the climate of the Midwest or Florida all day long, but we have a lot of exciting stuff to talk about.
We have so much stuff to talk about, and we have to start off with like the most important place too, by the way. Thor Love and Thunder. We are under 2 weeks away from my biggest movie premiere of all time. Still sad it wasn't exactly 11 days to the day, 11 years to the day when it was supposed to come out. They moved Mom over there to that, whatever. But we're here. July 8th is right around the corner. We have maybe one more show before the premiere of that movie. We are figuring out schedules because I don't know if you know this, America. Monday's July 4th. A week from today is the 4th of July, as they say down here in the South. And I'm not gonna lie. We're probably gonna take that day off. I like a national holiday. I like, not having to go to work.
And who wants to sit down on the 4th of July and talk about this stuff with us? I mean, I get that, there's some high demand for our commentary on projects like The Boys and Thor Love and Thunder, but I mean, even we have to take a rest every once in a while, and the nation's birthday seems like an appropriate time to do so.
Fireworks, this show. Now, if we had fireworks in this show, oh, baby, it would elevate.
If we had fireworks, you would be coming here for 4th of July. Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to make that happen this year. So
we don't have, that's not in our budget. 5 sure on that one. It's definitely not in the budget to have fireworks bursting inside of our house, fire hazard, as well as on the screen. Also, like, fire hazard. JRB.
Is the lightning not enough for you guys?
Is it not enough? Is it? Is it?
All right, we're both a little slap happy tonight.
Yeah, we are, man. Let's go ahead and dive right on in to what we were just talking about. Thor, Love, and Thunder. I am so dang excited. And JRB, you have brought to my attention an article that I didn't see because I was out in the sun all day that seems to confirm something that I personally have been thinking about since the very first trailer dropped, and that is some kind of symbiotic relationship. Yes. With symbiotes. I'm trying to not like. There it is. Look at that. We got it on screen. This comes from the direct.com. New Thor Love and Thunder clip reveals Venom-like villain. Ooh. This was written by somebody awesome at the direct, and we are
Aaron.
looking at shout out Aaron. Congratulations on the marriage and the wedding, big guy. Very excited for you and your lovely bride. I would say go make babies, but that might not be in your plans. Go live your life freely. The clip shows a lot of these creatures, and let me describe it to you. So we have Venom, right? We know what Venom looks like. Big, scaly, big antlers. Wrong movie, excuse me. He's got the white eyes, the big gnarly teeth, big tongue, the black goop, if you want to say. Aaron Perrine of Phase Zero is like really in tune with all the black goop running around. Aaron, we can add some more black goop to Thor: Love and Thunder. And this creature, which I don't remember what they're called, if I'm being dead honest. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should
black berserkers or something. It's very intense.
Thank you. The black berserkers, which are not that different in a design from Thanos's war dogs. I don't remember what they are. Come die, space
Those are
dogs.
Outriders. Yeah, they do. They look like venomized Outriders.
Mm-hmm. The teeth, very much like Venom. When you get into what they to their eyes, they have like way too many eyes real fast. And that shot, that looked like a sling ring. That looked like a sling ring. Oh, I don't think it is.
There is a lot of fire and destruction around, but you're right. That does have the similar sparks to like a sling ring being present.
Just in the photo, wowzers. Legend of the Traveling TARDIS says, if you put on your 3D glasses, you can see Tom Hardy. Nice rhyme, by the way. Let's see. This creature has looks like minimum of 6 eyes. Weird. And I mean, I don't know how to say this any other way. It looks exactly like Venom's skin, especially around the head and when the light hits it. And the teeth, very Venom-y as well. I think this maybe or maybe not confirms the all-black Necro Sword is a symbiote. And you want to know what's important here, kiddos? Venom exists in the MCU after Spider-Man No Way Home. That really, really funny, awesome post-credit scene that really, really tied into that really, really awesome other post-credit scene from that not so really good movie, Venom Let There Be Carnage. And there's a little goop running around, a little goopy goop. So I've been theorizing for a while that perhaps Gore comes to Earth because he's told to by his symbiotic relationship with the All Black. And perhaps we're on the train to that. And if we are, and it confirms that, I'm going to be really scared for the rest of my theories because I don't want to predict this whole movie like I did pretty much every Thor movie except Ragnarok. I mean, I predicted half of Ragnarok, if I'm being honest. I just didn't predict the funny stuff. So like it's my only pet peeve about MCU Thor stuff is I'm so deep in the comics that I can see one thing and I'm like, Leo pointing, that's the thing. I know what that is. Whereas stuff like Multiverse of Madness, when they dropped Incursion, I was like, I know that word. It sounds important. It does not sound fun. And then everyone's like, oh, it's this in the comics. I'm like, oh yeah, I've read that. I was like 10 years old, man. Cool. I'm just a pile of rocks over here. JRB, what do you think about the symbiotic relation, the symbiotes of these creatures?
I think it would add a really interesting layer to this Love and Thunder adventure we're going to embark on. I think one point that you brought up when we talked earlier that I like is that we'll probably see some connections to like symbiotes and into Venom, but not have those connections be officially canonically established yet, where we'll see something like this introduced that very well could be directly tied to someone like Venom, but they're just planting that seed and they're not going to tell us that. They're just going to introduce the idea and they'll connect it when it's relevant and convenient for them to do so. So, I mean, this looks extremely similar to the nature of Venom and the image of Venom that Sony's been bringing to life these past few years. So at this point, I'd be pretty surprised if there wasn't some sort of connection, even if it's, across the multiverse. I think Tom Hardy dropping a little piece of the symbiote at the end of No Way Home will end up tying up into this. I just don't know if we'll see it as soon as, this year or even next year.
Okay, that is very fair. I think, I think if they it's going to be very tangential if they reference the history of the All Black, because in the comics, you don't find out that the All Black is actually a symbiote or related to symbiotes specifically with the King in Black, whose name kind of escapes me right now. You don't find that out until like 9 years after Gore comes on the scene. It has symbiotic relationships. When we see the Black Berserkers, it's very symbiote in a way, the way they move in the comics. And, you know, it's hinted at, but it's never outright confirmed until quite literally 9 years after Gore came on the scene. And I believe that is, if I'm not mistaken, after War of the Realms, where Thor completes that journey that started back when he took out Gore the God Butcher. So it's going to be really intriguing to see if they tie that symbiote, the symbiotes of it all together or not. And hey, man, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it, baby. I'm so ready. Like inject these symbiotes and the love and the thunder directly into my veins, man. Ooh, yeah, dig it.
I'm ready for it. And I'm ready for it to exist outside of just Spider-Man too. I want to see symbiotes relevant outside of a Spider-Man movie, because that's new territory. That's something no one's touched yet. And
not well.
The comics have endless examples of how that can be applied. And the MCU has plenty of material that it can be integrated into. So symbiotes in general is definitely something that I think we all should get excited about, because it can bring a lot of cool stories.
I was just thinking, we were talking earlier and you were mentioning that you don't know if you want to see the MCU messing with Sony anymore or vice versa. And I think that they can get away with being like, here's a variant of Venom. And it's important to note that Kevin Feige has mentioned that Venom and Tom Hardy are quite literally symbiotic. You cannot have one without the other. That doesn't mean Tom Hardy has to be Eddie Brock or alive in there. He just has to be the voice. He has to Vin Diesel this thing. That's it. That's all he's got to do.
Come in and do the voice. Oh, look at me, Peter. I'm doing well. Oh, Gore the God Butcher, you smell like me. I like it.
Like, that's it. That's all he's got to do this whole time. And he's going to catch a fat paycheck. And then he's going to go have his movies. He's going to fight Andrew Garfield. Fingers crossed. But who are they going to bring into the Sony universe? We'll find that out. They already got Vulture over there in Morbin, whatever that movie. I never saw it, so I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be inclined to do anything with Vulture after how it was received. But at the same time, Sony seems pretty stubborn and not in touch with how the fans feel about their work. So, yeah, you're right. You're right. There are definitely signs that it's not going to stop anytime soon.
You remember when they re-released Morbius?
Remember how that's still technically like a thing right now? Like Morbius just came out on disc and digital.
Oh my god. Yeah, I saw it at Walmart and I was like, not worth the $24.
It's not. But it's so sad because it has one of the coolest slipcovers out of any Marvel movie. It has that weird, I always forget what it's called, but it's when you move the picture and it shows like two different images.
Yes.
And it shows his human face and his vampire face depending on which way you turn it. That's one of the coolest slipcovers you can have for a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But I don't want it because I'll never watch it.
Yeah, you'll have it you should buy it, keep it in the wrapping, and just look at the front.
You know, that's a good point. I did that with Venom. I own Venom, have not opened it.
Smart man. I own it on digital, so I guess I opened it. I don't have a hard copy. You haven't hit play on
it. It has remained unplayed.
Not recently, no.
Oh, okay. So we're not the same. Moving on.
No. I saw the first. I rewatched the first one before Carnage came out, and I was like, "This movie's better than I remember," and it got me excited for Carnage. And then Carnage was just like, "Hey, by the way, we're not smart in the
I
whole
didn't
maintaining continuity thing." So
I didn't waste my time on Carnage, so I still haven't seen it. And I heard immediately that was the right decision. So
it is fun. It's 1,000% more fun than Morbius, from what I've been told. Also, Morbius, I saw it in a 62-second cut, and I was very confused why like over half the movie looked like the guitar dreamwalking sequence from Multiverse of Madness, where it's just all a 90s fading in and out. Real quick, people are shitting on that on Twitter. Dude, first off, shut up. Second off, what are you talking about? You know how hard it is to make those things? That is beautiful art. Just because you can't comprehend it doesn't mean it's not beautiful to someone. People out there do abstract art. I don't get it. I wish I could see what they see, but I don't. I ain't gonna shit on it. Anyways.
Yeah, I feel like that happens anytime a creative liberty is taken at Marvel. So I don't know. There's always going to be people complaining. I thought that was a really nice creative spin and a way to kind of switch up the tempo of that film. So I didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't either. I was like, oh, they're doing this? Okay. At first I was like, what is happening? Because again, I didn't like it the first time I saw it. And shout out, I did just rewatch it with my nephews. Dude, that movie's so fun. It may not be great. It may not be spectacular. It may not be in the top 15% of my MC. I can't say that. I guess that would only be like 3 films, right? It's not in my top half of my MCU rankings. And I know that. I don't have to put it in my rankings to know that. Dude, that movie is so fun, though. Like, I still get grossed out in the Illuminati sequence, which tells you how good that is, because I've seen it like 5 times. And I've gone back to rewatch it in 4K because I'm like, I wonder what it looks like in 4K. And my nephews were like, whoa, it's so pretty. And I'm like, yeah, man.
Heck yeah.
But I don't, you know, it's fun. Enjoy what you enjoy. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Just don't shit on other people. And try not to shit on art, man. Even though we totally just shit on Morbius. Wait a minute. Where's Wanda? Hypocrite! Okay, thank you, Wanda. Appreciate it.
Great point. Yeah, we immediately transitioned from shitting on Morbius to saying don't shit on Marvel movies.
Don't shit on art is what I said. I mean, listen, everybody shits on Marvel movies, but anyways, you know what? So clearly we're just gonna go every which way around the rails, and guess what? Miss Marvel has something to do with a rail. Does it go off? Does it go on the rails? We'll find out. We're gonna take a quick 30-second break, and we'll be right on back.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
And we're back. Welcome to... I don't know why I'm doing the voice. We're back. Welcome to Miss Marvel episode 3. Yeah, we're going to dive right on in. It is Destined. First, thoughts and feelings, Jeremy. What did you think of that episode?
This third episode, I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first 2. I'm really enjoying where we're going with Kamala as a character and how we're getting this character study of like her life at home, and then also how she handles her school life with, you know, aspiring to be a superhero with these newfound powers and everything. I don't know. I don't think there was anything in the third episode that like I didn't resonate well with me. I think just overall, I just didn't enjoy it as much as the first 2. It was just kind of a lull for me. I know some interesting stuff happened, and I did enjoy it, but compared to the first 2 episodes, it was kind of meh. What about you?
You just don't like exposition, bro. I'm going to be honest.
Not true. You don't. J'accuse.
I'm going to be honest. This could be my favorite episode, actually.
Wow.
I love the exposition we get. I love the information we get. That's the same word. What am I saying? I love the dance. I love the musical numbers. I love the evolution of Kamala along the way. I love her internal struggle and watching, you know, her and her family have been on different levels. And like for one moment, for 1 second, they're all together. They're all working on the same thing. And then as always, something happens and they split up again. And the way this episode ends really is, this is the biggest cliffhanger yet for this show. I don't think we've had a cliffhanger really. Oh, last week was a cliffhanger finding what is her name, Najma, being picked up by Najma and Kamran. But you know, like I was like, oh, what does this mean? Like, fine. This cliffhanger has me going, oh baby, like I don't want to wait a week. Like I want this right now. I want to know what's about to happen. Give me Sana, give me Grandma, Nani. Like I want to see her interactions with Muniba, because I wonder if it's similar to Muniba and Kamala, and like seeing how all of that kind of swishes together. Another thing I want to say, I didn't put this in the notes, but Muniba talks about her mom like not being there for Amir's wedding, but she says, well, she wasn't there for mine wedding, so it's only, you know, natural that she's not here for her grandson's wedding. And it's like, oh, there's like real beef between her and her mom. And
does that also mean that her mom is available to show up and she's choosing not to?
That's a good question. That's one thing that's something we don't know. Maybe she's not available.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Like that is a great question that I think they're not going to answer until they're ready to answer. We'll find out when that is.
Kamala's
we're gonna
mom
have
definitely leads on, or knows way more than she leads on, though. Like no doubt about it at this point. Her mom is definitely sheltering Kamala from something, and this series is most likely going to turn out to be like a revelation of what Kamala's mom was trying to protect Kamala from.
Ooh, bro.
Oh, Siri didn't like that.
Oh, Siri.
But, I think I'm onto something. Kevin Feige told Siri to tell me to pipe down. But yeah, I think this series, I think the mom is a huge player, and yeah, it's definitely going to relate back to her mom too. So
I'm sorry, all I could think was Siri Sniper says what? Yeah, and we finally, by the way, big guy, we were right. Originally the woman seen in the golden robes is Aisha. And we find that out officially in this episode. And maybe I'm wrong, but when Aisha walks on the scene in British occupied India 1942, I'm like, that's her. That is the woman that has been popping up in these dreams that she's been having. Something kind of tells me that maybe they've got to save Aisha if she's alive. I get the feeling
she does seem sort of in distress. It seems like something's going on where it's like a kind of like a Leia type situation where she's sending a transmission out to Obi-Wan, like, you have to help us, you know? I know, aren't you so proud of me that I just made a Star Wars reference?
I'm so happy right now. My God, like the guy who doesn't really dive deep into the wars just hits me with a help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I think it's gonna be this bangle for her is what R2D2 was for A New Hope.
Let's go.
That'd be cool.
Love that. Let's jump into the plot here. British occupied India, 1942. In a tomb, Najma finds the bangle on a blue arm. We're going to come back to that in just a moment. They need to find 2 bangles to open a portal back to their home. We find that out later, but they only have one. The British are coming. The British are coming. Topical for next week. Aisha puts on the bangle and sees something. We do not know what it is. They do not tell us, but she goes, did you see that? We're going to take a quick pause. Is that blue arm a Kree?
It has to be. It absolutely has to be.
Second question. Why is that Kree in a 10 rings tomb?
Oh, I love this question. Yeah, man. They snuck in a little 10 rings connection there for us back in the 1940s. Whatever they were doing down in this tomb, the 10 rings had their emblem carved into the floor, and that I have no idea what to make of that, but that would totally change, or not change, but add an extra layer to how we see the 10 rings as an organization on Earth. We're talking alien affiliation now.
Yes, exactly. That is something that I love. At the end of Shang-Chi, they don't know where those rings came from.
Yes.
Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme, says it's a mystery. No idea where they've come from. It's not of any known dimension to us or any reality that we know of. Where does this bangle come from? People have been saying for, I think, since week 1 that this bangle has very strong 10 Rings vibes. It's got the same color. It emits similar. I mean, let's think about what you can do with the 10 Rings, right? You can turn it into a long weapon. You can turn it into a ball of energy to shoot. You can extend your hands and basically have big weapons to swing left and right. Kamala does the same thing, just slightly different, right? And I really think if there's anyone that should be put together, Simu Liu and Iman Vellani, the two newest superstars on the scene. You add them with, oh my gosh, Xochitl Gomez, I believe is how you say her name, right?
Oh yeah, America Chavez.
America Chavez. You put those three together, electricity, baby, electricity. And I mean, we're gonna open a portal, bro. At some point, like it is being said that we're gonna open a portal. Let's jump into the plot because we didn't find that out until this next sequence. Najma finishes telling the story to Kamala. That's when we find out that they are from Noor, which is a word meaning light. Interest. The bangle unlocked the Noor in Kamala, hence the hard light of it all. And they're called clandestines where they're from, but most commonly known as jinn. Now, the jinn are often demons in a lot of other cultures, like right now. They are in the Islamic faith, and in the Japanese, if I'm remembering right, Japanese and Eastern Asian culture, they are very similar, but they are tricksters, and they run around and they mess with you, and they try and influence you into doing something for them. When they said jinn, okay, so let me just be real clear. They're in 1942. They find it. I see a blue arm. Holy fuck. Okay, cool. And I was at work. I watched the first 7 minutes. And in 7 minutes, I said, what the fuck, 5 times. That was the first one. She gets the bangle off. And then Aisha walks up. And I go, oh, holy shit. Like, that's grandma. Love it. She puts the bangle on and sees something. Then they pull out, and it's the 10 rings. Holy shit. They say, oh, we are from Noor. Oh, that means light. Holy shit, that ties in directly to her powers. They're called clandestines, but most commonly known as jinn. What the? Like, I lost it there because I had to pause it, and that's all I could think about for the rest of the day at work was, dude, like, are they really about to tie in all these ancient cultures? Like, these are things that I learned about on another podcast called Mysterious Universe, which is all about the paranormal, the periphery, the cryptids of it all. And I learned so much that they're just dropping knowledge in this show that I learned from that. So I'm like losing my mind. I feel like I'm ahead of the game just by sheer damn luck of my own existential and eclectic taste of information I like to learn about. But they also are like, I don't know, kind of immortal, which is another holy shit. Everyone except for Kamran is old as hell, age undisclosed, and Kamran is 17, but they all have this light inside of them, but they can't access it fully. But it does slow down their aging process. I'm getting real strong vibes of like the Eternals in terms of lifespan, but I'm getting a sense that maybe they're not who we want them to be. Kamala asks Bruno if he knows anything about interdimensional travel, and he remembers a paper from Eric Selvig. Shout out. First time we've heard an Eric Selvig mention in, oh God, since the Dark World, I think. Maybe?
I think I know he was brought up in What If. I want to say he was mentioned one other time somewhere, but I can't for the life of me remember where it was. So yeah, it's been quite some time since we've heard Eric Selvig's name. Even longer since we've actually seen him. Except for, again, the exception being What If. But yeah, it's really cool to see that he's still very relevant in current MCU.
You know what's awesome, actually, that I forgot about while I was doing some research for a draft coming up on the Direct podcast, and I came across a little nugget that Eric Selvig is the first person in the MCU to label a universe 616. And that's our universe. That's Midgard in the MCU. That's in Thor the Dark World. It's on that amazing illustration in the Crazy House where Stan Lee says, "Yeah, can I get my shoe back?" Like, it's crazy. Shout out Eric Selvig. Also, shout out Bruno's gin and tonic joke. That's definitely going to get missed by kids, but old man Thomas, who loves a good gin and tonic with a sprinkle of lime. Oh man, that popped hard for me. The DODC comes to the mosque. They get schooled by Nakia. Nakia is my favorite character at this point. Holy shit. And then she goes to Kamala's, where Kamala almost tells Nakia that she's Hardlight. Wait, is that Nightlight? LOL. After Nakia tells her about the damage control, Kamala backs down. She's afraid because Nakia's not really vibing with that. And then she drops that she became a board member. This scene really pissed me off. Not the scene in Kamala's room, but the mosque scene. Because we've watched The Boys, man. And I know how I get annoyed when, I get really mad when people who are supposed to be doing a good job do a shitty job. And here, it really gives us a great look at how the Muslim community is treated by law enforcement. And I mean, they drop it's the good Muslim versus bad Muslim. And that whole dynamic, we're about to get deep here. We're about to piss at least somebody off in the world. Reminds me of the same way slave owners treated their slaves. Like, that is a genuine thing pulled in. Oh, somebody did something wrong. I'm sorry, let me turn my southern slave owner voice on apparently. Oh, somebody did something wrong. If y'all tell me who, I won't beat you. Or, worse, but I'm going to be nice. It's also weird to me. We're still on this subject that cops utilize the same tactic. I'm going to digress and go back. What did you think of the way this DODC situation was handled? Are we still feeling Skrull vibes?
I definitely am feeling Skrull vibes, and it comes back to the empathy thing. Is that, yeah, it is offering a great commentary on how like the Muslim community is treated, especially in times of crisis where a brown person is the one they're looking for. They immediately turn to these guys, and so it's very cool to see them hit that so head on and not be afraid to go there with this. Especially for a show that can be as lighthearted as a kid's show. Like you said, some gin and tonic joke might not get picked up because the audience for this is much younger than usual. But they are hitting this topic right on the nose. And the Department of Damage Control, it's weird how they're turning out to be like a villain again, or at least an antagonist. Same happened in Spider-Man as far back as Spider-Man Homecoming, even when they were going against the they've always been an instigator and causing more problems, thinking that they're taking over for the greater good, similar to how Tony Stark was up until Age of Ultron. So it is very fitting considering the legacy or his legacy, I should say, because that is a company of his creation. Yeah, but,
that's a good point.
Yeah, it is weird that they're getting positioned that way again. I think it is going to have a larger purpose this time. The Skrull vibes are definitely there. It's hard to ignore at this point.
Yeah, and we'll come back to the Skrull versus Kree of it all, considering that blue hand. But let's go jump to the Mindy, which I believe is like a wedding shower, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. I should have looked that up. I'm a failure. You're welcome. Muniba's mom couldn't make it, as we mentioned, and Kamala feels the weight of her actions as it's threatening her community. Oh God, what is his name? The gentleman who leads the mosque. I forgot his real name and his title, but he drops the line to Kamala that good is not a thing you are. It is a thing you do. And that is Kamala's with great power must also come great responsibility. That's the line that defines her entire approach to being a hero. I don't have to be good. I just have to do good, right? And that makes such a difference. Kamala opens a box from Bruno, and it's her mask. Dude, it's her freaking mask. And good old lover boy Bruno, who, by the way, looked super jacked this episode when he looked real skinny the rest of these episodes. Like, and shout out to the actor Matt Lintz. You can tell why he was in the running for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
100%.
It is funny. Like, I see some legit Peter Parker like mannerisms there. Like even the way he talks is similar to Tom Holland. It's very funny.
Quick aside, I don't know if you've played one of the Spider-Man games, but one of them, whether it was the PS4 or the PS5, one of them looked just like Matt Lintz. Like,
the new one. Yeah.
Is it the new one? Yeah.
The updated version. Yeah, he does look similar.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And I'm a big fan of this actor. We'll come back to why Bruno's the MVP later on. But then we cut to, I guess we're not going to get off the Bruno, actually, now that we're here. Yusuf goes to Bruno's shop, and he, oh my God, this was so adorable. He says, Muniba won't let me have these. And he lifts it up, and it's a Hostess cherry pie. And he's like, I love the syntheticness of it. And I'm like, dude,
so
what?
happy.
He's so happy. And I mean, if you got a guilty pleasure, dude, just enjoy it like he does. Like, that is amazing. Live your life with love. We'll get to that line later. He ends up reading the Urdu for the jinn because, you know, Bruno's like, I won't tell your secrets. Oh, what is this? Oh, cultural studies. And he says, the jinn are supernatural of pre-Islamic folklore. They've had many names across time and cultures, some called genies, others demons. Legend tells of a group of ancient jinn exiled from their home world and damned to live out their days trapped in our own. They move in shadows, searching for the key that will help them get home. But to unlock such an ancient barrier will require a primordial power. Thus, the power of the sun in the palm of someone's hand is needed and could cause something to go boom. Bruno tells this to Kamala. Kamala texts Kamran that she needs more time, and he, what a guy, says to focus on the wedding. Listen, if people want to say nice guys finish last, I'm going to say I'll fight you to the death. And I'll win because I'm a nice guy, and I'll finish last. Muniba tells Kamala, that was a nice, I'll kill you, but it's only because I'm a nice guy. Anyway, Muniba tells Kamala she doesn't have to do anything alone because she's talking about her scraped up knee. And the hug that Kamala gives signals to Muniba that something is truly wrong. My big pet peeve here, and it's a pet peeve because my family does it, and also it's a pet peeve because I do it, is deflecting away from that real fast. Because she goes, oh, cheer up, cheer up, cheer up. You know, Amir's wedding is today. And Kamala's like, yeah, whoever thought that would happen. And you can tell she's like, oh, like, I might have told her right there. She might have told her right there, but the subject was changed. And Muniba's like, yes, who thought that would happen? Cut to Amir and Tynesha?
Yeah.
Nice.
Tynesha. Yeah,
let me
you're
use
on the right track. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a cheat sheet.
We have a cheat sheet. You know who's not on there? Her. Damn it. Anyways, we cut to that wedding, and Yusuf makes a beautiful speech to Amir. Amir is freaking out because he has $749.80 or $750 something $49 in his bank account. And that's what he's freaking out about. He's like, I can't really do anything. First off, shout out. That was more money than I had in my bank account when that came out. So, like, good looks, Amir. Looking good, bud.
He's on the up and up.
On the up and up. But Yusuf says, you know, in this really long speech that a man who chooses love chooses family. And that person who lives with love and does things with love can never fail because it's done from a good place. And if you live from fear, you're only going to make your life worse. This is a speech I could have used when I was 3 years old, but whatever. I got it at 30, so that's cool too. Muslim wedding customs, I suppose, was amazing to see how they are just all sitting there. Like it seems way more laid back than the shit we go through in this country. Like in our traditional wedding sense, all this standing around is so bummed. If I ever get married, I'm saying this right now, episode 90, June 27, 2022, future wife, we're sitting the fuck down. My legs hurt. I stand all the time at work. We don't have to stand. We can sit and look sexy. Back to the plot. They ask 3 times to each, do you take the other to be your husband / wife? And it's like, I do. Amir says, I guess. So funny, so smooth. And then he says, I do. And then the third one, he takes a moment, pauses, and it's just the way he goes, I do. And it's like, oh my God, I'm fucking crying, dude. Like, that's amazing. The reception is the greatest thing I've ever seen. The dance, dude. The motherfucking dance. Real fast, I have 2 complaints. Number 1, it was cutting around too much. I just wanted to watch the dance straight on in a wide shot like it's Bollywood / like it's a play. Might be because I like theater like that. Number 2, biggest complaint here, it wasn't long enough, man. Release the dancing cut. Give me more, please. That was so much fun to watch the entire family. And then eventually, like, everyone's in on it except the wife, dude. Like, except Tynesha. Her little brother comes out wearing the Hulk suit that that Yusuf was wearing. Like, that's when I started losing. I was like, oh my God, it's so adorable. And the parents, both parents are out there dancing. Kamala comes in with her crew. They're dancing. Bruno in the goddamn sexiest blue 3-piece suit your boy has ever seen it. And I've seen some suits, baby. Walks out there and just crushes everything. That man got some moves. That kid is going places. He's not only going to Caltech, he's going to become, I don't know, dancing as a star. Or maybe he's going to dance with a star. #Nor, #Miss Marvel.
Nice.
Thanks, man. That was a good stretch. I came up with it on the top. Brown Jovi begins playing, and Kamran comes in to warn Kamala that his mother and Jin are coming to attack. Najma literally told her son twice, do not get in my way. I get the sense she would kill her own kid, which is scaring me a lot. Real bad. So we'll see where that goes. Kamala pulls the fire alarm. Living on a Prayer starts playing. And the goosebumps start because we're about to get a great action scene. Kamran asks his mom to stop. And this is where she says, do not get in my way. Kamala goes to the kitchen, tries to clear everyone out, and they stay working. Dude walks in, punches a guy. Oh, hell no, we ain't doing this. All the kitchen staff leaves. And I'm like, come on, guys, leave. That was a brilliant shout out the writing on that sequence. That was amazing. That's exactly what happened in real life. That's what I love about this episode. The fight starts. Kamala plays defense the entire time until Bruno gets hit. And then she starts kicking some ass. She fights back. Kamran comes in and helps. The DODC comes in, shockingly makes a save, taking all the Jinn out, including Kamran, arresting them. Kamala and Bruno escape, and Nakia sees her using her powers. Great sequence here. A lot of tension between friends. You didn't tell me. I tried, and Bruno is like, shut up. Kamala, leave. Now. You have to go. They're looking for you. Whether the DODC finds you or the Jinn find you, you gotta go. Nakia will help me. No, she won't. Yes, she will. Go. I also love, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. Are you okay? No, I'm not. Like, Bruno gets hit, thinks he breaks a rib or something like that from what I saw. And the weapons that the Jinn are pulling out are fucking crazy. It's like a belt turned into a metal belt. I don't know anyways.
That was weird. Yeah, it was like Indiana Jones. It was very strange.
Oh my God, it was Indiana Jones. Dude. Oh, like that whole sequence was real Indiana Jones, actually.
It really was.
That's why I love this episode so much.
It's like a cosmic Indiana Jones type adventure because we got the tomb earlier with the 10 rings. That's like Temple of Doom a little bit. We've got, yeah. There's definitely some Indiana Jones vibes in this.
This was the Last Crusade.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh man,
it's a fun time.
I'm about to cry, dude. I love Indiana Jones so much. It's ridiculous. Kamala runs home, and they question her about pulling the fire alarm because one lady, oh my God, let's talk about that aunt really quick. We've all got an aunt who just talks some shit. I love this actress. I love this character. I can't remember the character's name. She's an auntie. She's a part of the Illuminantes. Maybe Auntie Renee or something like that.
Is she the same one that was in the last episode too?
Yes. And she is hilarious. She says to the old lady, you can't even see. You know, she took away her driver's license, right? Because she can't see. And I'm like, damn, I know people in my family that hit me like that. Like, okay, I feel real. They question her about this, and she can't tell them why. And again, the disappointment on their faces and the hurt look of her brother and sister-in-law killed me a little bit. She lays down, gets a call from Nani saying that she also saw that. Oh, this is an important part. I didn't put it in here. In the fight, Najma grabs Kamala's, basically grabs the, what's it called? Bangle. Good Lord. Grabs the bangle, and they both see a train of Karachi coming in at the face. Cut to Nani calling and saying that she saw the train. Oh, did you see it? Did you see it? The train? You have to come to Karachi. What? I can't come to Karachi. Ami won't let me. She needs to come too. I'm sure she saw it as well. Come. Hangs up on her. That's how the episode ends, man. Like, this is the biggest cliffhanger of this series so far to me. And everything we got in this is just like, I feel like it's only going up. You know, I don't feel like it's gone down. I'm not less enjoying anything. I feel like I'm enjoying each episode a little bit more for like very, very different reasons too. The first episode is so much fun. We learn who Kamala is. Why should we love Kamala? The second episode is, why should we love this community? This episode is, why is this happening? What is going on? Who is going to be the villain here? And now the question is like, okay, where did I come from? And I think that's what episode 4, the big episode in every Disney Plus series so far for MCU, hits. Like, episode 4 is going to do some crazy shit. It's going to leave us in a place. Then episode 5 is going to do something crazy. And then we're going to wrap it all up in episode 6. I'm very curious, JRB. Where do you think we're going? And make that the second question. Your first question is, what did you love the most about this episode?
I think the thing I loved most about this episode is that it's starting to feel more like it's naturally integrated into the MCU. And that kind of ties into the second question you have too, is where you think we're going with this. With each episode, it's becoming more and more established that that the events of this show and the historical events that it's exploring did happen alongside and within the MCU as we know it. And we saw that with the 10 Rings Easter egg that they put in this one, with the Eric Selvig name drop that they included as well. They're making sure that this show stays relevant to topics and elements that we're familiar with. So I'm really enjoying that, because that was the most interesting part of this show for me, is how they were going to introduce Kamala into the MCU as we know it. Mainly because of what they've done so far, or not done, with Inhumans. So that's been the most intriguing part for me so far, and I think this episode is starting to scratch that itch a little more. Mm-hmm. But where they're headed is a much harder question to answer, especially after the new details we got, because like you said, the bangle is very similar to the 10 rings that the physical 10 rings that we saw in Shang-Chi. And adding that actual 10 rings organization emblem into the episode is making sure that we're looking in that direction. So it's really intriguing, but I have no idea where we're going to end up. I mean, we are halfway through it, which is weird to say. And I really don't like that about these Disney Plus miniseries, is that after 3 weeks, you're already, halfway done, and, like you said, it is still building right now, but we are getting to that point where it's going to start falling, and we're going to start having to deal with the consequences of what we're learning. I have no idea where we're going to end up after the next 3 episodes, though.
Yeah, man. I do. Space, the final frontier. I don't know how. Okay, real quick. Skrulls and Kree. We've been saying Cleary and DODC are Skrulls, man. It's super obvious, especially now when you see that the bangle came off of a blue arm, and we only know of, if I'm not mistaken, I started thinking Star Wars for a second. I'm sorry. We only know 2 blue species, Kree and whatever Yondu is. Now, I did not see if I'm not mistaken, he had like designed scarring on his hands, right? I lied. Also, Jotuns from Jotunheim. So that's 3.
We have Jotun. We also have Minerva from Captain Marvel. I mean, well, Minerva's
a
technically
Kree.
part Kree.
She's a Kree. Yeah.
So the list isn't that long at all.
Oh, and also whatever those blue people are in Thor: Love and Thunder, but I think that's Yondu's people. So we'll get back to that eventually.
Do you really? Have we?
They are blue. I don't know if they are Yondu's people. I'm hoping so, or like maybe I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Wow, that would be cool.
That'd be cool, right? Like, oh, we're going to save Yondu's
Be a
planet.
natural
like,
way
yay.
to put the Guardians into it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
But anyway,
anyways, yeah. Kree and Skrull. So if this came from the Kree and it unlocked powers within Kamala, then in some way we have to remember she's not a human. This could be how they introduce the Inhumans. Creatures from other dimensions coming in, mating, having children, and then all they need to do is have something happen to unlock that power. The Kree are always responsible for the Inhumans in almost every iteration in some form or fashion. And the Kree, in this reality, as far as we know, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon, haven't really done that fully. They have come in and manipulated Captain Marvel and became villains themselves. So if we were to look at it through the lens of the MCU currently, whatever is going on with this Bengal from Kree technology, which again, there is a Captain Marvel star on this right now. I'm beginning to look at it and go, oh, that's the Kree symbol. The Kree...
Captain Marvel's definitely been kept at like the forefront
Mhm.
of our memory in this series. Yeah. And for good reason.
And for good reason, because they want you to be like, oh yeah, Kree. Oh yeah, Skrull. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It doesn't hurt that they're gonna be in the Marvels together, but clearly, if the DODC is a Skrull, their aggressive approach to trying to find this technology and shut it down is scary, and it also is. It makes sense. So they're treating Muslims terribly, right, in the mosque, but at the same time, they're going to treat the Kree terribly because the Kree destroyed almost all of the Skrulls. Radical Skrulls are something we've yet to see. I'm beginning to question if this is the beginning of radical Skrulls that we are beginning to, that we see on screen. And from there, will this lead to Secret Invasion, where we find out, oh, this can go one of two ways. Nick Fury finds out, oh, there are Skrulls like hiding around in governmental positions, and we didn't know that. Like Talos didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Just like Hydra.
Just like Hydra. Or just like Hydra, Nick Fury put them there. And Secret Invasion, instead of finding out all these Skrulls, is finding out, oh, Nick Fury put these Skrulls here. And then it becomes kind of a character assassination. I'm hoping it's the former, not the latter. But then that would lead into the Marvels in some way. Now I'm beginning to think, if I'm not mistaken, they're doing reshoots on Secret Invasion, right? They're still filming all that. Kamala Khan's going to be in it. And Secret Invasion comes out first, if I'm not mistaken. So Kamala Khan can be in Secret Invasion first and then be in the Marvel. So she could get a trilogy of stories here before getting into space.
Do we have what's the release date on Secret Invasion?
I don't think we have a date. I think it's 2023.
Oh, okay. Same for the Marvels?
Same for the Marvels. Let me look that up. We put the research division on it. Secret Invasion release date. Please don't give me the comic book, you son of a bitch.
Sorry, it's like Homelander took over this show too and fired our entire data and research department. It's just us.
It's just us. I'm not seeing it, but what do you think happens next week? Like, what do you want to see?
Well, I like that you brought up that a portal will eventually be opened. I think now that we have an idea that that's happening, we're going to get some background into what that will look like. Like similar to Moon Knight, we found out that Amit was trapped. And shortly after, we started meeting the Egyptian gods, and we got a more of a look into that side of things. So I think this will probably be that is it's going to be, where did the Jinn come from? Where are they trying to get back to? I think we'll get a little bit better of a look, even if it's just more relics in history.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get more of that and get a better idea for how things are going right now. For Inhumans, I don't know where we're headed, but Wolf Rose 1, who's following along with us, is asking, weren't the Inhumans and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Daisy/Sky's family? Yeah, absolutely. Inhumans were a focal point of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for years, and so was Kree. The Kree were the very reason that Coulson was even able to live. With the arguments surrounding that show of whether or not it's canon to the MCU, we still haven't gotten that acknowledgement from like an Inhuman standpoint.
Yes,
that's what we're waiting for. I think Multiverse of Madness is as close as we've gotten with the inclusion of Black Bolt, and even he was from another universe, but it was the same actor. So there is hope. There is hope. Yeah, Inhumans have been tried before in a TV medium, and it wasn't received all that well. So we're still trying to work out the kinks, it looks like.
Very much so. And there was an Inhumans movie, and I still say Vin Diesel was supposed to be Black Bolt because he never has to speak. And he's also the voice of Groot. Like, it's perfect. Perfect combination of characters.
Cool, actually.
But then, Jeff Loeb did his thing. Yeah. On the Inhumans, we can either have the Kree do a bunch of experiments and place DNA into them, or we can have the Eternals do a bunch of experiments and place DNA into them. There's a lot of different things that could happen. There's a lot of different ways it could unfold. The Inhumans are coming. That's my prediction. Whether it's this show or going forward, I think the Inhumans will be in something. They don't put characters in a movie and tease it for no reason. They don't put a blip in the middle of the ocean in Iron Man 2 on that big ass map for no damn reason in the Atlantic Ocean. They don't do things without a purpose. They brought in Reed Richards. Genuinely, you need him to describe the multiverse. That's the guy who knows it. They brought in Black Bolt, and they gave you everything about the Inhumans you need to know. Blacker God Bolt again. Keeper of the Terrigen Mist, leader of the Inhumans. That's all you need to know. What are the Terrigen Mist? It makes them, from human to inhuman, their power sets, if you will. It's coming. Do I have that other prediction lined up in my head? Nope. Oh, yes, I do. Kevin Feige has said, we talked about it last week, the seeds have been planted. And I see them lining up. And we talked, it's multiverse. Guess what, man? Miss Marvel, talking about another dimension, looking to open a portal to that dimension, now makes 8 projects in the MCU in phase 4 alone that deals with another dimension, another reality, or another universe. You can use all 3 words and say they're the same damn thing. You can also have another dimension set within a reality. So there's a lot going on here that plays around with the idea of multiverse and secret wars. I mean, I really want to know what this Nord dimension is like. I really want to go there. Is it maybe just like a ghost place? Kind of like the Duat, or I don't know, the ancestral plane?
Well, Duat or Nord, the name of it means light, correct?
Yes.
Isn't Gore the God Butcher coming from a place called the Shadow Realm?
Yeah.
What if it's like the anti-light realm, where it's like the other side of whatever we're dealing with in Miss Marvel, and that's how they connect it to the MCU?
Okay, let's look at this real quick. This week is episode 4. July 6th is episode 5. Okay. Thor comes out the next day.
When Thor comes out. So, Thor comes out before the finale?
Oh my God, we're gonna probably. Okay, what if we go to the Nord dimension before Gore makes his debut?
Oh wow! So the last episode of Miss Marvel isn't even on Earth, maybe?
Ooh,
Holy
no,
cow,
I think
we're looking at this Miss Marvel series like it's going to have some happy ending. What if it just totally strands her off in the middle of nowhere? And the Marvels is about bringing her back.
wow,
That'd be wild.
I mean, it could be. Got any final thoughts on Miss Marvel episode 3?
I'm still liking it, man. I'm still enjoying. Excuse me, I'm still enjoying it. We finally got some of the action that I was hoping for. It didn't really hit me the way I wanted it to, so I think I'm okay with this show not having as much action and being more story based.
Yeah,
but now that I've made that determination, I am really excited about where this show's going. I think the whole uncharted waters aspect of it is really exciting. And they're finally diving into a concept with, Inhumans and the Kree versus Skrull stuff that we've been wanting them to explore for a long time. So if Miss Marvel's the catalyst for that, I'm all for it. And I'm really excited to see how they're going to start the back half of this first season they've got.
Yeah, I am as well. Really quick, thank you everyone for joining us so far throughout the show and leaving your comments. Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, Wolf Rose 1. That was really hard to say. I don't know why. We're going to take a 60-second break, and on the other side of that, we're going to be talking about The Boys episode 6. And I'm going to be honest, JRB, I'm going to just let you roll with it, baby.
Cool, man.
See you in just a moment.
Join author Gary Zeiger for an animatic short film based on his breakaway Stingray novel series. Watch this animatic short based on the novel Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever at stingrayseries.com. In Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever, Captain Epsilon is putting the band back together to rescue his protege's little sister from the evil conglomerate, while keeping his state-of-the-art warship Stingray out of their hands. Watch as the adventure unfolds in the groundbreaking animatic short at stingrayseries.com. Then, join the crew of Stingray with the next novel in the series, Stingray Prophecy, where Captain Epsilon and Dr. Zubre are pivotal players in an ancient prophecy. Can they reunite the people of two worlds before they destroy each other? To learn more, visit stingrayseries.com.
Before we dive into The Boys, Wolf Rose 1 dropped right as we went to break that I'm assuming it's a she based on the avatar there. More crossover episodes. Crossover episodes were done a lot more in the 90s, and I'm quoting her here, but I would like to see more of these in upcoming series. I cannot get more behind this. I got into Marvel from the 1996 Spider-Man, the animated series. The greatest Spider-Man stuff before live action ever. Maybe it's better than the live action stuff. I'm a liar. It's not. And when they crossed over with X-Men, that was huge. That was real big. But before that, you had Fantastic Four crossing over with the Iron Man animated series, crossing over with the Incredible Hulk animated series on the regular. I think they crossed over with X-Men at a certain point, but Spider-Man was not around just yet and kind of began as those ended. I would love that. I would love that so effing much. Let's get Shang-Chi and Ms. Marvel. I don't know. Let's do it. JRB. The Boys. Herogasm.
Herogasm. Yeah, we got Herogasm, which for those who don't know is a huge event in the comic lore of The Boys, where it's a culmination of pretty much everything that makes this show.
Should we do a content warning real fast? We probably should. Content warning.
The Boys did, so yeah, we probably should.
Yeah. You know what? We should just. I wish we had that lined up. We should have just read it. I paused it and laughed for 5 minutes before I started, and I had to text you and go, "Oh, by the way, this is going to be amazing because this is going to be the start." I see some of your notes in here, bro. I'm excited to talk about whom you are hating. Content warning. This is a very adult show.
Content warning. I'm going to read it word for word what they told us right as this episode began. It said, some scenes may not be suitable for some, really most, let's be honest, all viewers. But rest assured that any consensual relationships depicted, be they human, animal, superhero, or other, aren't real, harmed no one, and in fact cost a hilariously large amount in visual effects. So right off the bat, they're telling us, listen, this is a show about corrupt superheroes fucking each other up and fucking in each other. They're basically letting us know, like, hey, this isn't real, so don't get upset about it. And if you are upset about it, turn it off. So even for the boys, this is not a warning we see week to week. So going into this episode really made me go, oh, what are we about to watch?
Yeah.
And
I got nervous.
yeah, and rightfully so. So the last episode of The Boys left us in kind of a weird spot with pretty much everyone. Huey and Butcher have recruited Soldier Boy to basically team up to kill Homelander. Starlight, Annie, is really not happy about it. Neither would MM be if he were conscious, but he was roofied by Butcher before this happened. So we left him in an unconscious state where he didn't even know what was happening. Kimiko is still in a hospital bed after having kissed Frenchie, and Frenchie panicked and left and then got, we'll say, abducted by little Nina. So Kimiko was left on her own, wondering what she did wrong. Kimiko, you did nothing wrong. And the Seven is just a mess. Everyone in the Seven is kind of crumbling and falling and trying to pick up the pieces. Is there anything happening in the Seven that you want to bring to light before we get going here?
Yeah. Black Noir.
That's one I had too.
I don't know what is going on with him. The best part about Black Noir is he can do anything, and we're going to question it because he doesn't speak, and we don't see his face. He's a guy in a suit, and he's also the oldest guy on the team, like the oldest person on the team, excuse me. He's been around for years. He was on Payback with Soldier Boy, fighting in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2020s at this point. So he's been around for 50 years as a mainstay, a Vought go-to. And it's funny that at certain point, Soldier Boy says, not Black Noir. He wouldn't do anything without the say-so of Vought. He's like, he's the lapdog of Vought. Like he's the guy. And so eventually when Homelander realizes Soldier Boy's alive and, oh, we've got to take him out. And he's like, Black Noir, you're going to help me. And I'm so happy to have you. He goes into an elevator, cuts out his tracker, hands it to a lady and dips. I couldn't figure out, is he trying to go help Soldier Boy? Or is he running to avoid Soldier Boy?
I don't know. It could really go either way, because from what we've seen of Black Noir this season so far, on Payback, he was not being listened to, specifically by Stan Edgar. His wishes were not being met. He could have very well been against this whole plan that they had to sell out Soldier Boy. Yeah. He could be running to say, Soldier Boy, save me. This crazy guy Homelander's in charge now, and I can't take another minute of it. I'm fearing for my life. I don't know what to do. It could be that, or he could have totally been in on it, and he's one of the last surviving members of Payback, and he's running for his life because he knows not even Homelander can stop Soldier Boy.
Yeah, man.
It could really go either way.
It could, especially considering the videos that they've seen. Like, oh, he just like and kills everyone. Like, we can't survive that. Oh, he killed Crimson Countess. Yeah, we really can't survive this guy. Man. Like, I'm just a guy in a suit, basically.
Right.
Let's.
You're right. It's complex, and it's literally just a guy in a black suit running down a hallway, and we're having this discourse about it. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, let's before we get to the Herogasm parts of it, let's talk about Ashley and A-Train really quick, because that sets up them getting into Herogasm, and the rest of these characters don't need a setup into Herogasm. Kimiko, let's do the one that's not tied to Herogasm real quick. Kimiko and Frenchie and Nina and Sherry. In this episode, Kimiko gets captured, gets taken. Later on, we see her waking up. Cherie is there. They're both bloody and crying and upset. And then Frenchie comes out and is naked, chained. And then he has to choose which one of them dies, because if he doesn't choose, they both die, and then they're
Yeah.
going to kill him, and they're going to make it painful. And I couldn't tell if Kimiko was getting her powers back, because she seemed to break out of whatever restraint she was in real fast and went berserk. Like,
and endured a lot of physical beating. Like this dude caved in her ribs. Like it was really, really hard to watch, but she came out of it and still basically won that fight. But she was showing a lot of signs that she still had some of that compound V in her.
Basically, she stabbed him 35 times in the chest with a spike. I think she won that.
And that was after getting her chest caved in. Like,
yeah.
How do you even have the wind to do that once? She did it over and over again.
And not only that, but she kind of stands up and she's got like no issue. She's sitting there signing with Frenchie. But during that, you know, one guy gets killed like that. The other guy ends up beating the crap out of her. And when during this period, you know, Nina grabs the gun or is trying to get the gun. Cherie breaks out, body checks her, gets thrown, and then Nina just runs out because she's like, bump this, I'm done. This isn't going my way. Hit the high road, retreat. And then Kimiko is signing here, and this might be, in my opinion, the most important sequence of this entire episode because it describes every other character.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She says, it wasn't the V that made me a monster. This was always me. This was always me. And it reminded me of the super soldier serum, where it takes what you are and it amplifies it to 1100. So that ties into the Homelander, to the Soldier Boy, to the A-Train, to the Blue Hawk. Blue Hawk, right? That's his name?
The
guy we hate.
Yes. The one that we can even side with A-Train on. Yes, that's Blue Hawk.
That's his name. You want to know what's funny? That's the name of a tool company. Guy's a literal tool. Yeah, I know.
Go on the nose. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. I saw an axe today and I was like, Blue Hawk. Ha! That guy sucks.
Tool. That's funny. That's really fun.
I will let you take it away now, because then we can go anywhere now that we've got
we got a
core belief.
You mentioned Ashley and A-Train, and we have to touch on this too. A-Train goes to Ashley and basically complains that even after the meeting with Blue Hawk, things are not going the way he wants them to. Blue Hawk's still getting out of it and even getting like special treatment from the media to make him still appear as a hero in this situation that was trying to save innocent lives, when really all Blue Hawk did was torment a black neighborhood and hurt people again. So A-Train is fed up. He's tired of sitting around and seeing this happening. He goes to Ashley, the CEO of Vought, and tells her that something needs to be done. And Ashley gets in his face and says, what about all the times that I had to clean up your mess? All the murders that I had to cover up for you when you were being so reckless. And we've mentioned this many times before. The entire series literally opens with A-Train killing Huey's girlfriend. That's the first thing we ever see. That's the first instance of a hero in this series we ever see. And so from the get-go, A-Train has been that guy, and Ashley's reminding him of that. Like, dude, you've been doing this, and now you're mad that someone else is doing it. Now you're mad that you're the victim of what you've been putting so many people through all these years. And essentially that shuts him up, and he turns around and he walks out. Now that does two things. That does set him in a different mindset where he's looking at things differently, but that also puts him in a place where he decides, I'm going to take things into my own hands because it's not getting done elsewhere. So we have this very interesting inner conflict with A-Train where he's questioning, oh man, this is me. This is am I just kind of deflecting because this is how I've been? And now I'm finally getting a taste of my own medicine. But he's also just fed up and is looking for an outlet to unleash his anger. So we'll come back around to that. But like you said, Thomas, that's pretty much all the setup we needed before the boys uncover what is known as Herogasm. So they track down the TNT twins because, well, essentially Soldier Boy's going around taking out everyone on his team. Yeah. And so the boys are helping him with that if they'll help him take out Homelander. So they find the TNT twins, and that's when we find out that there's a very special event going on called Herogasm, and Soldier Boy reminisces and says that he actually founded this event, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bunch of superpowered individuals getting together and, for lack of a better term, fucking it out. Soldier Boy says, yeah, you know, I put this whole thing together 50 years ago or whenever it was with a hothead named Liberty.
1952.
1952. So that's where I got the 50 from. This has been going on for 70 years now. And he name drops Liberty, which fans of the show and the comics will know is the former hero name for Stormfront. So Soldier Boy and Stormfront are the two that put together Herogasm and essentially organized the biggest superpowered orgy. And I hope my family's not watching this. So we get them. They come up on the place and they find a way to infiltrate it. And then at the same time, Annie and Mother's Milk also agree to find a way into this. They show up at the event as well. Mother's Milk opens the door, and we meet a guy who the subtitles credit him as Love Sausage, which is actually a name that MM gives to him during this conversation. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this is a super common superpower, but the fact that we've seen it twice, 2 seasons in a row now, is just a guy with a crazy long, somewhat sentient looking dick. Where
it's the same guy.
It's the same guy?
It's the same guy. Yes. 100%.
Oh my gosh.
Same actor.
That dude died.
No.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Thank goodness it's the same guy. I was like, how many people are walking around with a condition?
Yeah, they talked about having Love Sausage last year, and like, we don't name him, but like maybe he'll get a name, is what they said. And here it is.
Wow. Okay. Now he's got a name. Okay. Wow. So all right. Well, it's good to know.
Remember, he's like, do I know you? You look familiar.
He's
like, I think I know you.
I heard that and I did not pick up on that. I was like, what are they talking about? Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
Well, that's good because it was a really shitty coincidence that MM had to deal with that both times. But and MM plays like the bothered straight man so well. Like he does such a good job of reacting to stuff like that, where it's I love watching just for his reactions to things like this. So
oh man. Yeah, he doesn't have a good time this show.
No, he doesn't. And yeah, it's only going to get worse. So now we've got Herogasm. We've got Huey and Butcher and Soldier Boy and Annie and Mother's Milk, who are all here. And they're all walking around looking at all these supers, just getting it on. We see sex toys made of ice floating around. We see I don't really want to get into the specifics. You can watch for yourself.
There's a lot. There's a
lot going on. But everywhere you turn, there's something of that nature happening. So it's very off-putting, but it does give Huey a very natural way of infiltrating this because, as we learned, when he teleports, he doesn't teleport with any clothing. So he's naked. So he's walking around this joint, buck-ass nude.
Mm-hmm.
And who does he bump into? Who's also at this function?
A-Train.
A-Train.
Really quick, you know who the first person is that introduces us to the Herogasm? It's very important. He's a very important character. The Deep. Sent there by Homelander to go find it. We'll get back to the Deep later with some Annie of it all, but
no, that is great that you mentioned that because on top of all the boys showing up, we do have some members of the Seven that are also showing up for this event. A-Train's one of them. The Deep is also there on Homelander's orders. And by the way, the Deep is there to find Soldier Boy and the boys. If Soldier Boy's there, Homelander told him, call me. Right away, Homelander will be on his way. Shit's about to get real.
Yeah.
Not as real as I was expecting for episode 6. But boy, did things get real.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about a climb with Miss Marvel, that's all this episode was, just a constant, very steep climb. Towards
This show is crazy. It's really high, right? And then this episode was like, we're in space, motherfucker.
Right, exactly. They're going up there to get ready to shoot the Marvels. We see Huey bump into A-Train, and Huey's got the temporary V now, so he's got powers, and it's getting to his head. Huey's getting to a point where he is very, very confident in himself and his abilities, and when A-Train bumps into him, an exchange is had. A-Train's sort of curious why he's there, and then as he's going to turn away, Huey said, "You never apologize." And this comes back to that murder we mentioned at the beginning of season 1, when A-Train murdered his girlfriend by running straight through her. And Huey said, "You never apologized for her." And A-Train gets in his face and says, "I'm sorry. Is that what you want? I'm sorry." And we see that A-Train, while reluctant to admit it, it is hitting him in a soft spot. A-Train is very conflicted and very moved by this interaction.
Yeah.
And when Huey gets that apology from him, he decides it's not enough. And it doesn't satisfy that urge that Huey has in him, where he thinks that an apology from A-Train, restoring his pride, will somehow fix that. So when it doesn't resonate the way he wants it to, Huey swings on A-Train and actually hits him. And A-Train is shocked, and he goes, "How did you do that?" Just blown away by the fact that Huey was able to hit A-Train hard enough for it to actually have an effect. Because up until this point, no one knows Huey's got powers. But they're about to know.
Except Annie. Yeah, except Annie. And Annie comes in and breaks it up really quick, dude. I want to touch on that A-Train apology. That's when I started getting a little nervous.
Yeah.
Because
I was on the edge of my seat.
I was on the edge of my seat, but I was
How many
like, okay.
members of the Seven has Huey already come face to face with in this series? In this season, he's done it with Homelander. Now he's done it with A-Train. He's done it with Annie multiple times. They're constantly clashing.
3: Maeve, Deep, Noir. The only ones he hasn't come in contact with.
I bet he's going to get through most of them by the end of this season.
Ooh, but to be fair, he interacted with Maeve last season. Never
That's true,
interacted.
But it wasn't a face to face like I'm about to fight you type situation. He's
true. It was on the
He's
squad,
in major conflict with individual members of the Seven at multiple points in this series,
including his girlfriend. That A-Train apology, man. That, you have a question. Do I like A-Train or not? That's the point where I was like, do I like A-Train? Like, he took what Ashley did to him, said to him, and
he actually received it.
He did the hardest fucking thing you can do. Like, that was the whole point of what Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of was about, was saying sorry. Saying sorry is the hardest thing to do, and saying it genuinely from the heart. And A-Train starts out like, "Is that what you want to hear? Huey, I'm sorry." And I say it because I am. Because your family got hurt, and you didn't mean to, and I know what that's like, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. And it's like,
see, but the other side of it too is that as much as it is about saying sorry, it's also about extending forgiveness. Because as soon as Huey received that apology, he wasn't willing to forgive him. He wanted to hold on to that anger. And we see that with Billy too, and the grudge that he's held for multiple years now. And we see it with Annie and the fucked up life she's been through. We see it with Homelander and how horribly he's been treated by everyone in his life up to this point. We see it with every single character. They have opportunities to forgive and they do not. It's very interesting. And this is one of those pivotal moments where Huey has the opportunity to move past this issue that's been driving him for years now. And he's realizing it's not enough. It's very, very, it makes me question where Huey is headed, because it seems like he's headed down a very bad path.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna have a great future, if you know what I'm saying. We were talking about, I was like this before the V. We see it with Homelander. We'll get to his Green Goblin monologue in a little bit. But we also see it with Huey. Huey talks about his tendency to run in previous seasons. Now he gets the V. teleport, literally run away to anywhere.
Oh.
Butcher is egomaniacal, wants to rule the world, and fucking hates Homelander. Wants to burn his eyes out with his own eyes. He gets Homelander's type powers. He gets elite level power. Starlight, Annie, wants to be a beacon of light and hope to everyone. See what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's starting to now
the deep wants to be deep inside of some weird sea creatures.
Oh, baby, does he? We'll jump there really quick because that's the scene that really sets up the fact that nobody knew Homelander was coming.
Yeah.
Which that sentence, by the way, was very out of context, and it made me think of MM opening a door and getting covered in some stuff.
Oh, wow.
But Annie is walking around and opens the door and hears the deep. And she walks around and she sees him with an octopus around his junk. And he's having sex with an octopus, which is super it's expected considering what he did with his wife.
There was a lot of foreshadowing. We should have expected it.
There's a lot. Oh, as soon as we went in, I was like, what's happening? And then I'm like, dude, of course it is. And she takes a picture and says, I'm going to show this to blah, 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 blah. He's like, you can't. And he's like, listen, Homelander's on his way now. He sent me here. Like Homelander's coming. What are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Annie and transporter kid, Huey, get into like an argument. You hate him. I can't remember him. They get into this argument and Huey teleports her away, essentially.
Which is, by the way, a new part of his power set we didn't know he had.
Mm-hmm.
He can, just by touching someone, his powers can extend to them as well, which is accurate to how we usually see teleporting done in this medium. But very cool to see that although he can't transport any inanimate object that he's wearing, like clothes, he can transport an entire other human being also without their clothes.
Also without their clothes. I'm not going to say that sentence because that would go down the hill real fast. But they had this amazing discussion. And Annie, once again, says, I thought the V had corrupted you, Huey. But you've always been like this. And it comes down to him wanting to save her. And she's like, I thought you said that didn't bother you. And he goes, well, it does. Sometimes. A little. Maybe. And it's like, oh, Huey, you fucking wanker. And that's what leads to essentially their breakup. Like they didn't say we're done, but they're done.
Pretty well implied they're not on speaking terms right now.
She will not go back to him, I think, ever. And if she does, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
It's going to be very hard to redeem himself at this point. And I don't see any reason why she would now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This whole season felt that way. He's been in a different element, and he's definitely been driving a wedge between them while claiming that he's doing the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So now we've covered all these characters up to a certain point. That point is Soldier Boy showing up inside. Huey was given 3 minutes to go in and do all of that. If I'm not mistaken, he transports Starlight out once Soldier Boy comes in, right? They're arguing when he comes in, and he's like, oh, no, I got to get you out of here. That's when that happens. Yeah. I can't remember how Annie gets back, but she has clothes on and comes back. And
I don't know if it shows it.
I don't remember either.
Doesn't matter.
It really doesn't, because we'll watch it no matter what.
Least significant
detail
doesn't matter at all.
And then Butcher, once Soldier Boy comes in, having changed into clean clothes, points a gun at him. Butcher comes in and says, no, don't do that. And is going after him, straight up going after Soldier Boy.
This is the part that made me more upset than anything else in this episode.
Then take it away.
The sees Soldier Boy behind Butcher. He and Butcher are already having this weird staring contest standoff type thing where MM's like, dude, don't do this. Soldier Boy walks in from behind him. has a mini episode where he just sees red and wants to go after Soldier Boy. Butcher grabs his arm, and can't break his grasp. And that's when you realize that Butcher is using the exact means to stop by which he's using the exact same methods that they've been trying to eliminate for years now. That they've been fighting against tooth and nail. Their whole moral compass has been set directly against. And Butcher standing there all jacked up on Compound V, physically stopping and manhandling him in a way that they have said is inherently wrong, you know?
Yep.
And you see that look in MM's face, and he goes, I can't believe the person you've become right now. You know, what you're doing right now, we swore to destroy. You know, I've become the very thing I swore to destroy. You know, it's literally that. And Butcher knows it too. You can see it literally right behind you.
Love it.
And you were the chosen one. But Butcher has quite literally become the very thing they were fighting against for so long. And if anything, if it wasn't clear enough already, has every justification he needs to never have anything to do with Billy again. Everything has been tormented by for his entire life is standing right in front of him. And one of his best friends, who's been helping him get to a moment like this, is now the only one standing in his way. And it's just, I don't see how the boys as a team can recover from this one instance right here. Will never be on the same side as Butcher again, in my opinion. I don't see how they can reconcile this.
I'm not going to lie. I actually didn't see him getting back with him after last week. Like,
right,
you drugged me. You drugged me, and then you tried to team up with Soldier Boy, and then now, you stopped me from trying to get Soldier Boy.
Right. If that wasn't bad enough, now he's literally... Yes.
I will say, shout out Butcher for trying to save his friend's life. Because we all know, like, what are you going to do? Piss him off? Cool.
Right.
What the...
We're all thinking clearly in that moment that will not survive a one-on-one with Soldier Boy. But we're completely blinded to that by the rage that we get from Billy being the one standing in the way, using the Compound V as a means to stop him. That's the infuriating part, because we should all be like, you're being stupid. But instead we're all like, Billy, you're being really stupid, you know?
And then he starts taking stuff and beating the shit out of Billy. And basically it's him fighting Billy, him fighting Butcher, and Butcher just taking it. Like, I understand you need to do this, and I'm not going to feel anything.
And he's not going to swing back.
Which, again, one good thing. Shout out Butcher for not swinging back. Like, I feel like in another time he would have. Let's go to Soldier Boy meeting TNT. And they're having a discussion. And then that Russian song starts playing. And he becomes triggered. And he gets mad. And he explodes the house. He hits them. He turns around and basically destroys the entire house. At some point, I don't remember how or when, Starlight shows up, right? Butcher and are knocked out. Butcher wakes up, goes over, checks MM's pulse. He's alive. Cool. Goes away. Homelander shows up. And Soldier Boy and Homelander have a stare-off. Then they start talking. I'm the new you. Buddy, nobody's the new me. They go one-on-one. And I'm going to be real honest. I don't think Soldier Boy is going to survive one-on-one against Homelander. I did not like the way that fight was turning out.
I think he is definitely rusty. But I think by the time we get to the end of this, we'll realize that there's still a lot that didn't happen in this fight that could happen.
Yes. And it's important to note that earlier in the episode, when he talked about using that burst when he was in Midtown, he blacked out for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He lost 10 minutes of time.
It wasn't just the blast. It was some time before and probably a few minutes after too.
So that happened. And then in this, with the song, it happens. And he walks up to Butcher, goes, what happened? And Butcher looks at him like, are you fucking kidding me?
You happened.
Yeah, he's like, you happened. And I think the only person that knows this is Huey, not Butcher. So Huey knows that information. So he's going to find out eventually. Soldier Boy and Homelander are fighting or begin fighting or something. And Butcher comes in at a certain point and he's like, "You cheated, Butcher. We had an agreement. Scorched earth, blah, 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 blah." And then he does something. He goes, "What have you done?" He goes, "Scorched earth." Hits him with the laser eyes. They go, I'm trying to think of like, who does laser eyes against each other, man? I can't even think of one.
It's basically been like fan art for years where it was Homelander versus Superman or Superman versus the kid from that James Gunn movie, whatever it was called, where it was like, what if Superman grew up evil? I don't remember the name of it, but
Firestar, I don't know. Burn Bright, that's it.
Yeah. And so to see the laser eyes, actually, what wasn't it in Man of Steel with him and Zod? Maybe.
Maybe.
Basically, you're right. This is something that fans dream of in a comic book scenario, and something that we've seen in a lot of the promo and the marketing for the show, and like the concept art and the way that they're like promoting it. But man, I wasn't expecting to see it in episode 6, dude. It was dope.
Yeah, it was so dope, dude.
It was so amazing.
Cool. And let's be honest, toe to toe, Butcher and Homelander,
a lot more evenly matched than I was expecting.
I felt they were more evenly matched than him and Soldier Boy.
I agree. It was like Homelander was struggling early.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised.
Yeah. And then he starts, taking him out and doing well. And then it's Soldier Boy and Butcher against Homelander, and they're doing well. And then he starts taking over. And then Huey literally pops out of nowhere and hits him. And then Homelander turns around and tries to punch him. And he's too fast for Homelander. What a trick. And it takes 3 of them to hold Homelander down. As Soldier Boy starts,
Billy Butcher, Soldier Boy, and Huey have Homelander on the ground on his stomach, pinning him down, and they're trying to get Soldier Boy to load up that plasma blast.
Yeah, which if he had not lost his shit like 10 minutes earlier, he might not have eblastile dysfunction. So,
wow, I saw your brain trying so hard to get you there, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I feel like he would have been able to pull that off. And what got me is Homelander had his eyes glowing, but he wasn't shooting anything. I felt like if he shot, he would have enough energy bounce back. Because physics say if he blasted his eyes, his head would jerk back, and he would also whoop, like it. Anyways, Homelander overpowers all 3 of them and flies out. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. First off,
bolted out of there. He didn't float away. He did the flying equivalent of sprinting away.
There was a sonic boom.
A cannon. Yeah.
There was a sonic boom. Basketball news. Sorry. I love so much that we just saw Homelander actually weak, like against other people, not just with himself, not with Madeline.
Have we seen him struggle?
No, never. This is the first time he's ever been put in check on a physical level.
I think Stormfront may be the closest he's gotten, and even then, he still felt like he had the power over her.
Yeah, I don't remember them fighting.
No, it was more like a sensual kind of.
Oh, you mean when they were like banging and killing people while they were banging? Yeah, that was creepy.
I think she tamed him more than anything else temporarily. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I would say against Butcher, he was as close to being evenly matched as we've ever seen.
Yeah, I cannot wait for Butcher versus Homelander. Like,
there's going to be a one-on-one.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a one-on-one. There has to be, and I genuinely, bro, I think Butcher is going to fucking slay him. I don't know how the comic ends. I think Butcher wins. The way they've built it up so far in this series, I think Butcher wins. I don't know if Soldier Boy survives this season.
Soldier, I can't imagine they're going to keep him alive. Just because, like, what are they going to do with him at this point? But there's so many people that I don't see a future for, though.
His name is Boy. His name is Soldier Boy. He can be one of the boys.
I like that.
We also get some fun backstory really quick on Soldier Boy, making him a slightly tragic character. Like, he genuinely loved everyone around him. Granted, he's a fucking racist dickhead, but he still loved them, and he was genuinely hurt that they did that to him. Unlike Homelander, he's actually a little bit more of a human being, which really brings us, JRB, to one of the greatest fucking things of this episode that almost made me feel bad for Homelander for a second.
Yeah,
and that's the Green Goblin monologue in the mirror.
Yeah, that was a crazy sequence that was so unexpected. We get a shot of Homelander in his quarters back at Vought Tower, and he's standing overlooking the city, and there's a mirror next to him, and all of a sudden we see him standing still, and his reflection turns and looks at him. Very similar to how Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn has his Green Goblin monologues in the Spider-Man movies. And the conversation even that they have is very similar. Yeah. But it's also reminiscent of more recent comic book projects like Moon Knight, where Homelander is looking in the mirror and his reflection is saying back to him, hey, I've protected us through all of this. That's why you have me here. That's why you created me to deal with things like this. So how you mentioned Soldier Boy is more in touch with his human side, I think that makes him even more similar to Homelander. It's just they handle that in reverse ways. Is they both have that same human element. It's just a matter of Soldier Boy not having a problem with it and Homelander always having a problem with it. Because this alternate personality of his absolutely hates the fact that he has a human side to himself. Soldier Boy loves that part about himself. Yeah. That's why he loved his team. Homelander can't stand it, and that's what's driven him to become such a maniac, is because he's and this alternate personality of his claims that they want to carve out the human that's left in him. Yeah. So I was worried at first that this was trying to make us sympathize with Homelander, that this was going to make us think, oh, there is a human side to him and he's a victim of his own circumstances, and now he's a victim of a mental health disorder, and you know that. And I was very concerned that they were going to try to turn us around on Homelander until, that is, Nerdist sat down with Eric Kripke, the writer of this show.
Before we get to that really quick, what I love is that it starts with, I protected us in the bad room. You remember when we were in the bad room, right? And remember, he was raised in a freaking lab.
Right.
So, and it's like, what do you want? I want them, I don't know. Yes, you do. Say it. And he's like, I want them to love me. Why? I don't know. Say it. Because I'm still kind of a human. Yes. And you have to carve that out, and then you will be truly unstoppable. And that is the exact understanding of who Homelander is. He is slowly, little by little, eroding that little bit of glimmer of hope and humanity that makes a hero. And let's jump to what Eric Kripke said, and then we'll come back to how this episode ends in a fucking mind-blowing, Vought lied, people died kind of way.
Yeah, man. I thought for sure by the end of that scene that they were going to try to turn us around and sympathize with Homelander. But it turns out that I think they have the opposite in mind for this character. When Kripke was asked, about this conversation with himself in the mirror and how it gives a new insight into Homelander's psyche, he was asked, what are you hoping people take away from this scene? And he said, our take on Homelander is, even though he's a sociopath, he's also a human being who has reactions and feelings. And to me, the biggest sin that Homelander commits is that he hates that he has feelings, and he hates that he's a human being. If he embraced that part of him more, he might be a happier person who isn't going out to destroy the planet. Like, say, Soldier Boy. In the original version of it, speaking of the third season of The Boys, the figure in the mirror for Homelander was just this kind of cruel, browbeating character telling Homelander what a loser he was. Similar to how he's been treating people like Ashley, people like A-Train, other people in the Seven. This would have been a really good answer to that, of why he's treating people that way, is because his inner monologue is treating himself that way. He's constantly tormented by his own brain, who's telling him these things and knocking him down. But apparently the actor for Homelander, Anthony Starr, had a even better idea for the character. He wanted to add another layer to this and saying, what if that alternate personality was his childhood friend? And what if it was a connection that they had because he was alone for so long and he ended up creating this relationship with an image of himself. And that's why we see that in the mirror. So very similar to how Mark Spector is depicted as dealing with trauma in Moon Knight. Makes you wonder if maybe he got that idea. But I mean, it was probably way too late in the filming process by the time Moon Knight came out. So it's funny how those
3 months ago. So
yeah, I know, right? It's crazy how those lined up and happened within just a few months of each other. But he was saying, what if that's what got him through these situations? And like you said, the bad room. I mean, the amount of trauma he had to experience as a child, we've hardly even touched on that, you know?
They're gonna give us flashbacks at some point. Watch.
That's what I think we're going with, is we're going to see flashbacks to justify this alternate personality he's created. So we're going to get a reason behind that and what's driving him. So it's just going to dig that hole even deeper for him rather than find a way out for him. You know, it's going to just re-solidify the fact that Homelander is too far gone, that there is this personality inside of him that's driving him towards all of these evil things, and the humanity in him is too weak to handle it. It's very similar to Green Goblin.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, he went on to say that this is a guy with multiple personality disorder. So Kripke does say he's got multiple personality disorder, which I thought was now called dissociative identity disorder. So I don't really know what the proper term is, but
no. That's different.
Oh,
They're
it's
two different
Okay.
things. So multiple personality disorder is that you have multiple personalities that can take over at any point in time, and they're always kind of there. DID is a little bit more of all of a sudden you wake up and you don't know what happened, and it's because another personality took over.
So DID is more of like a hard break between the personalities.
Yeah, so think of DID as someone taking control of a game character. Like if I played a video game and then you took over that video game, and then I took over at a different point, I don't know what you did. It's
okay. Okay. Interesting.
Whereas,
so, then,
like if I'm playing GTA,
like
so yeah, if I'm playing like GTA 5 and I play all three characters, I'm all three characters. Whereas DID would be all three characters are me, but I don't know that.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Well, he does.
GTA 5 helping out.
Kripke does point out specifically that this is multiple personality disorder. So this isn't some weird illusion. This is an actual mental disorder that Homelander is dealing with now. I don't believe we've touched on this before. So this is very new for the character. It's very interesting development to shove in this late in the game. But it does add a little more insight into how his brain is working. But he goes on to say, and that part of him is saying, cut the human part out of you. Cut out that part that's human. Kripke goes on to say, I don't want people to sympathize with Homelander, but I do want them to understand him a little more. I look at that scene and I get a little scared by it too. So, I mean, he caps it off by literally saying, hey, don't worry. We're not supposed to be sympathizing with him that much. I just want you to understand where he's coming from. So my concerns have been totally extinguished. I'm no longer worried about the direction of the character. Just for about half a day, I was like, oh no, they're going to try to redeem Homelander. And they still might a little bit, but I don't think he's going to have
opposite of that. Like,
yeah,
I got exactly what they got. I'm like, oh man, wow, like they're like, oh, he's protecting. Okay, like I'm sympathizing, and then he said, we got to cut that humanity out, and he's like, I know, and I'm like, oh no, this isn't like I don't want to do it, Green Goblin. It's like, you're right, I know, we'll get there. It's fine. Help me. It's oh man, it
Just
started
showing
out
him on.
sympathizing, and then I got very, very, very scared. Like Kripke says, like I got very unsettled. I'm like, oh, he's like cray, 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 cray. Like nobody stands a chance because there's multiple versions of him about to break out at any point.
Right.
Yeah. We have some stuff in the comments here that I totally just saw. Wolf Rose, shout out for hanging out this whole time. Asked, would lasers pointing at each other even interact? That's a good question. On a physics level, it depends on the type of laser. If it's like a physical beam that can hurt you,
Like an energy blast.
like an energy blast, yes. If it's like a laser,
it has to be that. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be. If it's like a laser that you can cut paper with because it's powerful, no, they probably would not interact. However, I wonder what would happen if you pointed them right at each other and lined them up. Like, would they blow each other up? That's dangerous. Where's Mythbusters? I want to know.
We'll just do it here. We'll call it LTA Busters.
LTA Busters. I have a
We'll have
degree
to
in
work on it.
science. Yeah. Lat Busters, we'll call it. We'll just get dyslexic. And then she was saying it's possible because some causes of split personalities are traumas.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. I think that personality is a direct subproduct. And it's funny that it's a product because Stan Edgar called Homelander bad product, but it is a subproduct of Vought. It is a direct causality of what they created. So yeah, it's really cool to tie all of these things back to Vought, to think it did come from a pharmaceutical company. That these are all just concoctions in a lab that got really out of control, and and now they're causing all these crazy problems. But that's essentially where we wrap things up. Herogasm is blown to flames, but there's one more really important development that comes directly out of that. One more character shows up to Herogasm, and it's Blue Hawk.
Oh shit! I forgot about Blue Hawk. You know what else we gotta hit? It's like the ending of the episode with Annie. Shit. Okay.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Let me
first,
just
we got to talk about Blue Hawk for a second.
We gotta talk about the tool. We gotta talk about the tool. We gotta talk about the broken tool.
Yes, Blue Hawk, the tool man, racist. He shows up. I don't remember why he's there. Like, was he already there just participating?
He was already there. He talks to Starlight when she's there.
Oh,
And
that's right.
like,
He runs into Starlight 1st, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And, but yeah, then A-Train runs into him outside after Soldier Boy blows the place to crap, and he gets in Blue Hawk's face again, and they have another standoff. A-Train basically tells him, like, my brother might never walk again, you know? And Blue Hawk is basically just still unsympathetic, saying he was doing his job and that he still thinks he's justified in his action. And we see a little tick go off in A-Train's eyes. And next thing you know, we hear that noise that we haven't heard in a minute. And it's A-Train fucking taking off. And when he takes off, he drags Blue Hawk right behind him. And he just starts running. And he's running down the street for, I don't know, that sequence lasted longer than I would have liked. But as he's running and dragging Blue Hawk behind him, Blue Hawk is just slowly but surely shaving away on the pavement. And he's just scraping him into nothing. And by the time A-Train stops, Blue Hawk's a mangled mess who's clearly not living at that point.
Fuck no. Fuck that guy. Only dead body I was happy to see.
Yeah, you know what? As happy as I was, that scene was so conflicting because, like, obviously I hate Blue Hawk and I want nothing more than for him to just not be around anymore. But I also can't say that I side with A-Train because, like, he doesn't come from a good place either. And it's like there's no real winner I'd be happy with in this scenario. I just know that
A-Train. I will take A-Train in this because fuck Blue Hawk.
I'll take A-Train for a lack of better options. But as soon as A-Train gets what he wants and Blue Hawk is mangled in the middle of the street, A-Train doubles over and he's holding his chest.
That's what causes him to stop. Like,
right, exactly.
Like it's running, and then all of a sudden you hear, like, slowly, and it's building up, and then he stops, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And that's the sound, and it keeps going and going and going, and then it just fucking stops,
and he collapses right in the middle of the street next to Blue Hawk's dead body.
Yeah, and it's like it's still there on him. He's like, and then it just slowly pulls the camera out to, if I'm not mistaken, like a tinnitus ringing sound.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
And then I was like, oh shit, he literally, I was like, yeah, let's fucking go, A-Train. Yes. And then I'm like, wait a minute, he might die. And then he peels over and I'm like, dude.
And I gotta say, this
couldn't
is a very
forgive him, so he died.
This is a super random note that I might not even have anyone that agrees with me on this, but the pose that A-Train was standing in when he stopped running and had Blue Hawk behind him, I don't know what it was about it, but it was the most superheroic, like comic booky pose that he could have had as like a speedster. The way he was standing, like I don't know what it was about it, but like that made it feel very like superhero-y for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a small detail, but the way he was standing, like I hate how like all these people in superhero outfits are just kind of standing around like, meh, I'm here, I'm a superhero. He was like, it was like an action pose, like straight out of a comic book. So I always love when I see little details like that. I never expect it, but because of that, I'm always very delighted when I see it.
Yeah, I think the only reason that happened is because that's his heroic journey.
Mm-hmm.
He literally,
it's
in a way,
doing something right.
Him doing something right, sacrificing himself for the greater good, not worrying about himself. He's literally willing to die to bring Blue Hawk to justice in his mind, and that's what makes him worthy. Bringing it back to Thor, baby. So let's bring it back to the very end of this episode.
Yeah, we still have one more very pivotal plot point we gotta touch on, and it's you guessed it, another cliffhanger.
But before we get that, it's important. Annie goes in, sees MM waking up, wake up, and then he sees Soldier Boy and Butcher standing there, and they're both looking at him, and he's getting up, and he's like, and she tells him, it's like, stop, we need to help these people. And he's losing it. And he's like, MM, we need to help these people. Look at me. He doesn't control you. He had just told her earlier, because she's like, oh, have you always had that? And he's like, what? And she's like, come on. He's like, all I know is I woke my grandfather up because Soldier Boy was outside. And then a car comes in and hits him exactly where he was at. I woke him up and put him in the place to die. And he killed my father too. And so I'm there. And all I know is if I don't wake up and check the burners, Soldier Boy is going to kill my family. And as somebody with OCD, that is exactly what it's like. I don't do the physical compulsions. Mine is more mental. I start game planning. I start catastrophizing. I think of every infinite possible way things can go right and wrong. And I make a fucking plan. Maybe because I watched Columbine happen live in 1999 and I was only 7 years old and watching my mother cry really fucking broke my heart. Maybe that. Maybe other trauma. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But watching Annie, like, tell him he doesn't control you anymore. He never controlled you, MM. Don't give in. Let's help these people. We are their only chance for help. Cut to the evening, and she is walking around in her clothes, her gym shorts and shirt, and looking at the dead bodies on the ground. And for some reason, only 12 dead bodies. I think that's only 12 dead bodies that can be found.
Yeah, I agree. But just like the building that Soldier Boy blew up.
Exactly.
Not accounting for all the people vaporized into nothing.
Yes. But then I don't remember how it all breaks down, but she hands it to MM and he's like, are you sure you want to do this? Mind you, she's taken pictures of this thing already on her phone. I thought they were just going to film something. Yeah. But then it cuts to the phone and she's live. And we find out she has the most followers in the entire company of Vought. She goes live. She reports live from the scene exactly what happened. And it's like, Oh my God. It's more people than would ever pop into a live ever.
The number was rising at such it was climbing so quick. I was like, oh my gosh, how many people are tuning into this?
Yeah, and it's going through, and you can read the comments, and it's like, oh my God, I love Starlight. Oh, I love Homelight. Oh, hashtag Homelight. And she says a couple of lines, and then people go, wait, what? Wait, why were all those people that? Wait, why was this here? Soldier Boy's alive? I love Soldier Boy. Wait, he's the terrorist. And it keeps going. She mentions Maeve, and people are like, oh, get well, Maeve. And it's like, but she might be dead. And people go, what? Maeve might be dead. And then it keeps going and going and going. And then my favorite part, she quits the Seven. She quits being Starlight. She says to call me Annie January, and I'm fucking done with this bullshit. Vought lied. And in the comments, hashtag Vought lied, people died. And that becomes the entire fucking thing over and over and over. And that's what everyone's commenting. And that's how the episode ends. The world just changed. The hierarchy of power in the boys' universe has changed because of Annie January, my future ex-wife. Notice how I only try to marry fictional characters? I think that's a thing.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about you for that, but we'll save that for another day.
It makes me feel better than trying to marry the actress, because that's like creepy. When they're already married, you know. Yeah, exactly. Characters.
Yeah, so you just draw it on the fiction part. Why is it
stranger than fiction? So,
dude, episodes 3 through 6 have all included a cliffhanger at the end that involves Annie directly.
Yeah. And I have never been more excited. Okay, so we've been saying for 3 weeks now, why is Starlight always getting fucked?
Yeah.
JRB. Starlight just fucked everybody.
She did.
Revenge.
She turned it around.
Let's go.
She said, I've had enough.
I got to be real honest. This episode, I've never been more hype in my life in an episode of The Boys. Like, there are certain things that happen early on that I'm like, oh, let's go. But the last 20, and it's legitimately the last 20 minutes, because I was like, oh my God, it's almost over. I hit a button and go, oh, there's 20 minutes left? Oh God.
Yes.
Oh God, what's going to happen? In 20 minutes, my hands were swollen because I kept this monkey cymbal clapping. Like, so my nephews were here, and I walked out. I was like, could you hear me screaming? And they looked at me like, dude, yeah, we heard you screaming, you dunce. I just kept yelling, let's fucking go. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding? Like, losing my mind. And then I'm like, let's go, Huey. Let's go this character. Let's go, Adrian. Yeah, fuck Blue Hawk. Like, I got to the end, and I'm like, let's fucking go. Starlight. I had to sit in my room for 30 minutes because I had to come down. Like, I was on a crazy adrenaline. This episode, you want to wake up in the morning? Watch this episode. Watch this episode. I almost watched it this morning, but I ran out of time. I think I'm going to wake up tomorrow, Tuesday, June 28th.
January.
I had Annie January.
Got your future ex-wife on your mind again.
Well, God, why am I around? And I'm going to try and watch this tomorrow because, like, I don't know if there's a better way to start my day because it's going to be fucking electric, dude.
Dude, this episode is one of the most rewatchable episodes, which is really odd considering what else it contained. Like, I don't know, a superhero orgy.
Well, I mean,
but I mean that
was.
Come on. It truly did take the background to what else was happening in this show, though. It was background noise to everything that was happening. That's how invested this show forces you to be. It's crazy.
Chef's kiss, baby. Like, that was, you're right. Like, everyone, if I remember right, when they started promoting this and they talked about Herogasm and it's coming, and I think they even said it's episode 6, so be ready. Mm-hmm. And then people are like, oh, what, we can expect this. And they're like, you can expect nothing because it's nothing like you're thinking.
Right.
And
yep. Right.
Yep. I could watch that last 20 minutes alone and be like, I got my fill.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm getting goose pimples thinking about it. It's so exciting. Do you have any idea what happens next?
I truly don't. I can say with the utmost certainty, I have no idea what's going to happen next because I thought half of that shit was going to be in the finale.
Same. For a second, I was like, dude, is this the end of the season? And I'm like, no, there's 2 more episodes. Thank God, there's 2 more episodes. Dude.
Yeah,
Dude.
I have no idea what to expect now. Everything is a mess. Vought is going down. It is going to happen. It might not be by the end of the season, but it's at least going to start by the finale because we got a downfall coming. There's no way that the company can get out of this.
Did Annie mention Stan Edgar in that live stream?
Ooh.
I don't think I can't remember if she did or not. But we have seen Stan Edgar in in promos take his glasses off slowly, surrounded by people. I don't believe he did that when he got by Newman, which we didn't even talk about. And if I'm not mistaken, if they're going to go after Homelander, the new, head of Vought, I think they're going to have to get somebody else to come back in.
Oh man, he's totally going to get positioned as just a victim of all of this.
Exactly. They're going to utilize everything that happened. And here's the thing. Here's how he does it. He's going to say, well, I tried my entire life to get these. Look at Lady. She wants your love. Look at that doggy.
She's like, come on, man. It's after 9 o'clock. What are we doing here?
She's like, why are you still talking to this fool? Why are you talking to this tramp? Damn it.
There it is. We waited 2 hours for that joke.
2 hours, 11 minutes, 10 seconds. We got there. I think he's going to come in and his whole purpose is going to be, hey, I have been trying to get these idiots in line the whole time. And that's why they came after me, because they don't want leashes anymore. And he mentioned to one of the guys running for president that he doesn't want to be in the game anymore. He doesn't want to be in the hero game. He doesn't want to babysit them.
Right.
This could be him coming in and wiping out the Soups. This could turn into Soups versus Vought versus the boys.
Soupageddon.
Fucking A. This could be Vought hiring the boys to take out Soups. Ooh, here we go.
And that brings back that sex toy scene with Kimiko where they have the 7 sex toys and they use the 7 to destroy Vought. Boom.
Motherfucker.
That's my working theory. It's not very well pieced together, but
neither is mine.
Speaking of theories, Wolf Rose one also thinks that we'll start seeing some female hero marches and protests. I think you're spot on that, especially with Starlight being forced into that unconsensual Homelight situation, and then also with Maeve being totally gone and not being accounted for. I think all the women in VOD are being treated poorly right now.
Facts.
I would 100%. I
love that.
She said that's going to be featured in the next episode. I agree. I think if not the next episode, certainly the finale, we'll see some public backlash for what has been brought to light here.
Dude, it's about to get so painful for us in this reality that we live in currently to watch what's going to happen in this show if it goes the way I'm thinking in my head, where these female heroes go in March, and then these what are they called? Storm chasers that are all in on gobbling down the Nazi crap of Stormfront and Homelander. And they're going to say, oh, well, she asked for it. And then I don't remember if she mentioned about the Deep, but like, it's all going to come. Well, she asked for it. Oh, well, she asked for it. Oh, well, she asked for it. That's going to be a phrase that's going to get some people fucking murdered. And I can't wait to watch that.
Man, yeah. Do you have any predictions for what these final 2 episodes will look like?
Nope. I got nothing, man. I have no idea whatsoever. I'm not even sure Homelander comes across Soldier Boy and Butcher again. Like the way this episode ends, will he be on the run?
Yeah, I don't know. Are we gonna is Homelander? They might end the season with Homelander showing back up saying, "I've recharged. Let's do this," and then season 4 is going to be all about tracking Homelander down.
You know, if we can get Maeve, she's got the video.
That video.
She will commit career suicide. She won't care because she hates Homelander. She
doesn't care about anything
John.
at this point.
Yeah. She wants to die. She made that clear with Butcher, essentially. In my opinion, she sat there like, she's like, yeah, good. I want to die. Still hate Butcher for that. Breaking her sobriety, man. That made me want to stab him in his stupid fucking laser eyes. JRB. Okay, but
I get it. I get it.
I'm a family of addicts, man. You don't do that shit. That's not cool, man. That's how you get stabbed in the femur.
Look at what else they've done in this series. I don't think that's where he's drawing the line.
That's also true. I mean, I'm just saying.
He broke his own sobriety that was 3 times as long. I don't think he's going to care.
That's fair. You're right. That was my line, damn it.
Oh, man. Yeah, The Boys season 3 just keeps getting crazier and crazier. Wolf Rose 1 with another clutch comment.
The Deep incident came out in the first season on the stage. I remember that now. Yeah, Annie mentioned it. And that's what got him kicked out of the 7.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it only took 1 season for him to be reintegrated into the 7. So,
2,
I mean,
right?
Excuse me.
Yeah,
it only took him 1 season outside of the 7 for him to be brought back. So, like,
you're right.
However, that's another very accurate commentary on how recency bias is a very real thing, and how like public memory is very short-sighted. He doesn't seem to be dealing with any backlash from that anymore. So, like, is this going to be another situation like that where everyone hears it and then they blow over it like it's nothing? Or are they actually going to say enough is enough? 2
things. 1, that's why the government keeps getting away with shit in our reality. 2,
Exactly.
I got a feeling the Deep's wife is going after Homelander.
Whoa. Going after Homelander.
She is seeking power.
For herself against Homelander, or for the Church of the Collective? Because we still haven't heard shit about them.
See, first off, Newman and Starlight drink a Fresca. Just want that to be very clear. They drink a LaCroix.
What?
They drink a LaCroix. Isn't that a Fresca? LaCroix?
Oh, is that the same thing?
I don't drink either, so I don't know.
That's true. She took like 1 little sip of it, and then she was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, Wolf Rose, can you help us out? I don't know the difference between a LaCroix and a Fresca. I don't even know what a Fresca is. I can't lie. If I don't drink it, I don't know what it is. I can be honest. I drink water and Gatorade, and that's about it. But she is seeking power this whole time. She's egging him on, and she jumps in where she needs to, and he's like, what was it? I didn't need you to jump in there. We're all on the same team. We're all on the same team. Yeah, we're all on the same team. She's a fucking cult leader. She getting with Homelander? Dude, that is bad news Bears. That's bad news Browns. Bad news Bradford. I mean.
Nice. So she's using the Deep to get to Homelander.
That's what I'm starting to think. And it took me a long time to realize that's not the same actress that played Ygritte in Game of Thrones. And I'm pretty ashamed that it took me this long to figure that out. By the way.
It's the same girl. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know who that is.
You motherfucker. I mean, watch until a certain point.
See, that's why I don't watch. I want all of it or none of it.
I'm going to be honest. I don't have as many qualms with the final season as everybody else. I don't like the ending. I felt like it was a dumb cop-out by dumb producers who didn't know how to... Listen, I'm not going to call Benioff and Wise dumb, right? But they were dickheads behind the scenes from a lot of different first-hand reports. And if you watch the making of the final season, you see it in the eyes of everybody being interviewed. They're fucking done with this shit. When I watched that, I was like, no wonder this final season feels weird. They are like, everybody here is like, they fucking hate their lives, dude. Like, Okay, first off, night shoots suck. I've only had to do a couple, but filming for a month, nights, that makes people go literally insane. It's very important. Sleep during when the sun goes down, you should be asleep. That is what the body is usually wired to. Some people are owls. They enjoy the evening. And that's another biological thing. That is evolution. Somebody stays up at night to watch, someone stays up during the day to watch, and vice versa. I'm trying to find that actress because now we're on this thing. Final thoughts, sir, on The Boys episode 6. We'll wrap this up, send everyone home for a very short. Remember when we thought this would be 90 minutes?
Yeah. Who were we kidding? We almost went an hour longer than that. Final thoughts. I think this is one of the strongest episodes that they've ever done. It's certainly one of the most entertaining episodes they've ever done. Every character they present in this, well, I feel like we could say this about every episode. Every character in it has such a complex story at this point that every turn, every move they make is interesting and important. And so I think this episode brought a lot of that together, where a lot of those things were happening in one setting. And it's really fun to see those stories intersect and play out like side by side, or even within, starting to intertwine with each other even further. Because now A-Train and Huey are reconnected. They've had another run-in, and we're adding on to that history. We have Butcher and Homelander that progressed in the same setting. We have Annie and Huey that progressed. We had MM and Butcher that progressed. We have Soldier Boy and his former team. There's so much going on in this one sex house. And they kept it so contained while having a freaking superhero orgy going on in the background, and you hardly notice. So I'm very happy with where they're going. If they can keep this tone, and they have been so far, this is going to be one of the best seasons of The Boys, probably one of the best seasons of television I've ever watched.
This is the best episode they've ever done. 100%. And I'm so excited to see where we go in these final 2. We only got 2 left, bro. We got this week and next week. Like think about this next week really quick. Oh, actually, you know what? Wait a minute. The finale comes out the same day as Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, you're right. Oh my gosh, we have so much to do that weekend.
Dude!
And then we have the Miss Marvel finale the following week.
I know. Listen, man. And July 5th, you know what July 5th is? Mm-hmm. Everything Everywhere All at Once on Blu-ray, baby.
Let's go! I should have pre-ordered that.
I'm just going to go to the Walmart and be like, oi, give me that. It's going to be diabolical. Wolf Rose 1 says, with Game of Thrones, the show writers pretty much wrote themselves into a corner. And
that's what I've heard.
I disagree. I think they made deliberate dumbass choices in the final season. At no point in any damn way did I see Daenerys Targaryen straight up fucking murdering people in Westeros. I didn't see that coming.
Spoilers. Just kidding. I'm never going to watch it.
I figured. That's why I just said it. But I said it. You're like, spoilers. And I go, fuck. He's not.
Don't worry, man. It's too far gone for me. I missed that train by a mile.
They did some really dumb. And then they made Bran the king at the end when it goes against what he said. Like, I don't want power. Well, you'll be king. That's why I'm here. What the fuck? Listen, all I know is George R.R. Martin was like, yeah, Bran doesn't. He's like, I can assure you of one thing. Bran doesn't end up on the Iron Throne. He can't even get out of his chair. And I was like, boom! Got him.
Is that the writer of the books?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Okay. So he's
saying, real quick, since we're on this, Kit Harington brought his own writing team to George R.R. Martin to greenlight a Jon Snow series post season 8 of Game of Thrones. Passion project, baby.
That's Kit Harington's character?
Mm-hmm. Jon Snow. It's going to be about him. It might be about the Night's Watch. I'm not sure. But he brought his own damn team in and went to George R.R. Martin. And George was like, fuck yeah. I love that. Do it. And it's in production in HBO Max now.
Oh, wow. Oh, wait. So are you saying Kit Harington facilitated it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. That's what I was like, oh, cool, that's a thing. And then I read like how it became about, and I'm like, dude, now that is a thing.
Huh.
That's a great thing.
Nice. Maybe I'll watch that, and then if it piques my interest enough, I'll go back and watch Game of Thrones.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you watch Game of Thrones, you're going to enjoy it because you're not waiting year to year like we were. I feel like the last season will not hurt as much. Like I binged seasons 1 through 3, kind of watched season 4. And I believe at the end of that is whenever Jon Snow died, I caught up to that night. And from that point on, I was week to week and I did not miss it. And if someone made me miss it, wrestling, I would pause wrestling and go watch Game of Thrones first.
Wow.
Yeah. Listen, this was peak wrestling days too, man. Like Daniel Bryan was good. WWE was decent. I mean, there's nothing around then, but yeah, that's how good that show is.
Who's Daniel Bryan? I only know a Bryan Danielson.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
Stupid name.
Brian Danielson?
Brian Danielson.
Is that a stupid name or Daniel Bryan? Because
I think they're both dumb.
Well, that sucks because that's his real name. I mean, what are you gonna
Daniel
do?
Bryan sounds better.
I guess. I get Brian Danielson. Anyway, JRB, where can everyone find you on social media?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at JRB_direct.
We got there.
Yeah.
You can find all of my stuff, linktree.com/TCRochesterACT. That's also my Twitter, TCRochesterACT. You can also find LightsThunderAction. All of our links at linktree.com/LightsThunderAction. That'll give you our Facebook, YouTube, which we have our own YouTube. We put clips up. Our Instagram and our Twitter. What's most active these days? Honestly, I don't know. It's hard to tell. we both work full-time jobs, so we do our best to keep up with
Twitter,
it.
question mark?
I do think it's Twitter. That's where I hang out the most.
I think it's probably Twitter.
It's probably Twitter. I try to do polls here and there, but it doesn't always work out. Like, not everyone watched Miss Marvel, and it was weird. It was sad. Anyways, back to the plot. Recommendations for the audience, JRB.
I just watched a couple movies this week, actually. The first one I wanted to bring up, but I think I'm going to save to actually talk about, is Spiderhead with Chris Hemsworth on Netflix, because I want you to watch that one, because you and I could have a really fun discussion on that. Another one I finally got around to. It is. It really is. It plays with such a untapped, like, original idea of something that could be very real for humans. But so I won't really get into that, so we can talk about that later. But Spiderhead on Netflix, at least watch the trailer, check it out. It's really fun. The other one I got to see was Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yeah, that's a movie.
It's on Peacock, so I finally got to check that one out. I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters, because I probably would have thrown up. There are a lot of, like, drone shots in that movie where it's Michael Bay, so there's already a lot of camera shake. But then he's playing with drones a lot in that movie. Because a lot of the movie is an ambulance driving, so it's like car chase type settings. And so drones are utilized, but it was all over the place. The story's really fun. It throws you right into the action within the first like 20 minutes, but it's still like 2 hours long. So it is a really fun movie. It's like in my brother's top 10 for most enjoyable movies. So it is a really fun ride. I'll definitely recommend it. It's especially since it's on Peacock. You got a couple free hours. Throw that on. Jake Gyllenhaal is classic in that movie. And yeah, I really liked it. What about you? Did you see anything this week that you want to recommend? Was there anything that you watched that you think is worthy of our eyes gracing it as well?
There's a little series that came out recently. It's called Obi-Wan Kenobi. I watched that in Multiverse of Madness with my nephews. In Kenobi, we watched all 6 episodes. We took some bathroom breaks. We took some cooking breaks. But first off, binging 6 episodes like that, it is kind of painful. I did it with Loki, and I don't ever really want to do that again.
It's hard with these Disney Plus ones because it's too long to binge in one sitting, but it's too short to be called like a full season of television. It's really weird.
it is weird, but Loki specifically just had way too much going on that you had to keep up with.
Too much information you got to retain.
Yeah, Kenobi does not have that, but it is a long time, and there's a very big tonal shift in the middle, which is great. I mean, it mirrors the prequel and original trilogy, but it is still a weird tonal shift that I was like, oh, that's actually really effing jarring in a binge. Works great week to week, but Kenobi, it's amazing. I don't know what to tell you other than if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry for all of it. And you didn't kill this segment. I did. Ladies and gentlemen. Really cool. Oh my God. Okay.
That was a really good scene. That was really, it totally explains why the prequels or the sequels are the way that they are, in my opinion. Like the way I perceive Obi-Wan and his relationship with Luke in that movie, in A New Hope, that answered all the questions I had of like, well, how does this make sense? But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi ended up wrapping up things really, really nicely. I liked it a lot.
Oh, JRB over here. Should have had you on for one of our Kenobi chats. Reckless Rebellion, I'm going to shout that out real quick. If you want to listen to me, like verbally nerdgasm all over this show, we did it for 6 weeks. And this last episode, kind of good. Kind of good, maybe great. No real...
Nerdgasm. Now we're talking nerdgasm, and it's on Reckless Rebellion.
Yeah, F&A, Cotton. F&A. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we've reached the end of the show. As always, there could be no show without the Iron Man variant to my right. World-famous journalist John Ross Bradford, bringing a much-needed eloquence and wit. Thank you to Terry McIver and David Thompson. Big time, David Thompson. Big news coming up next week. I can't say what is about to be happening, but shout the fuck out, David Thompson. We'll talk next week about that. For their work behind the scenes, thank you to the HWWS WebTV family for supporting us and carrying us on the network. Most importantly, thank you to our fans that join us weekly. Shout out real fast, Wolf Rose 1, hanging out with us literally all night. Thank you. We appreciate the hell out of that, and really just jumping into these comments aggressively. I love it so much. Bringing in little spicy webs that we needed to save our butts here. Most importantly, thank you to you, our fans that join us weekly, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or listening via Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, or Spotify. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Absolutely, yes. And like we said before, please be sure to like our show, follow our show, subscribe to it. Drop us a comment, leave us a review, preferably 5 stars. Of course, if you feel we are worthy.
Worthy. As always, I'm TCR.
And I am JRB.
Thank you for joining episode 90 probably in the top 5 longest episodes we've ever done of LTA. We will see you next time.